Hello, everyone, and welcome to a pre-recorded session of Nat20Hot. If you're joining us live, we're not really here. If you're joining us live, I'm sorry, but we are had to move some stuff around, so we're recording so that we can release on Wednesday. But we thank you for joining us. Nonetheless, we'll be back at a date to be determined, and very exciting coming up for our 50th session. A surprise that nobody gets to know about until later. Um, Not yet, but everyone else knows. But if you're joining us for the first time, we are a group that raises money for Extra Life. We get together, we play D&D every week, and we are raising money. It's a wonderful charity that supports America's and Canada's children's hospitals, funding life-saving and critical care. So go ahead and check out the link in our Twitch profile to find our donation page where you can make contributions to a wonderful charity. And with that, let's go ahead and recap the previous session. Because when we were last with our heroes, they had just finalized a rather tense encounter with members of the Dawn Guard, including Branwen's sister Colette. The party retired for the evening and awoke the next morning, attempting to will Draken Voss into helping them. But while they found that he was out of office, the familiar face of Hansen Davy greeted them at the door and welcomed them to Voss's towers, locking them in the dining room until such a time that Voss returned. Davy, however, seemed to recall nothing of the party. While they waited for Voss to return, Randy tried to convince the group that Voss is a worthy ally, but certainly encountered a fair amount of worthy pushback before he ultimately arrived. And Voss invited the party to his study and lambasted them, insulted them, uh, called them morons in much more eloquent terms, and ultimately insisted that Dunk's affliction was his own responsibility given the thievery that he had committed. He was, however, amenable to studying the disease and looking for a potential cure should the party go off and retrieve the rime-bound stone, an heirloom of a winter court house of nobility. That was, however, until he saw Ted, everyone's favorite robot, the little droid that the party encountered outside of the tower the night prior. Ensorcelled with the robot, it's a big word for Elmo, and claiming him to be the muse of all of his automatons, Voss changed his mind and insisted that the party instead chased after Thariel and Ted's lost memory unit, which appears to have made its way to the city of Oldhallow, where the party was already planning to go anyway, to spy on the Earl King and take part in the wild hunt. Voss ultimately awarded the party with a handful of relics to stave off Dunk's affliction, including a belt of Gormoran, and a hither-tither staff, and sent them on their way, only for the party to get embroiled in personal drama and nearly at each other's throats, before Randy threatened to knock some heads together and made everyone kiss and make up. The party retired for the evening and awoke the next morning to find a peculiar, large, black feather stuck in a nearby tree. And that is where we find ourselves on the eve of a new, or on the dawn of a new day, rather. Still fairly deep in the woods north of Silverhaven and Draken's Tower, and kind of huddled around the morning campfire, making your breakfasts, and kind of discussing this black feather that you found.
Can I go get it from the tree?
Willem has already retrieved it from the tree and is
Damn
holding
it.
it in his hands.
Forgot about that. I want to play with the feather.
Anybody have any idea what this might have come from? No bird I ever seen.
Could I roll a nature check?
Sure.
See if I can see what kind of bird that is.
That's from a bird.
It's from a bird. I think. It's a 7.
Yeah, you're not really. I'll say that you're not quite sharp enough to rule out a bird, but you've certainly never seen a feather like this before.
Branwen, any idea?
Chris, do I have any ideas?
You can make an insight check. Well, actually, you already made it because you messaged me about it.
I had a theory, and I was like, I'm rolling for this right now.
So you can go ahead and share your theory if you'd like.
From what I remember, in the tomb of Alari, is that there were a bunch of winged people.
Yep.
Yeah. That's my
It could
theory.
also be a night bird.
I thought it was a vulture because when we were in Silverhaven and that guy died, there was vultures circling overhead, and I remember hearing the Earl King uses those as his eyes and ears around town. But apparently, it's not a vulture.
I
'cause
mean,
it's
I
no
feel
bird
pretty good
advertisement.
about the winged person thing.
How big is this feather?
But yay big.
It's a person-sized feather.
You think they're like up there right now watching us?
I
All
think
right.
we'd see something that big, huh?
So, like, I have an idea. Building off of the Alari idea, do we maybe know anybody who was of Alari's caliber who recently got let out of anywhere?
Yeah, me.
I think we do.
Yeah, and not for nothing, it's a black feather, and black is traditionally a color associated with evil in many, systems. Not that that's a right thing to do.
That doesn't feel like conclusive evidence that we
Yeah.
shouldn't trust whatever's up there.
Oh no, I mean,
I mean, did anyone that was on watch last night why is he going scary mode? Stop it.
just for fun.
I didn't see anything while I was on watch last night.
I did not either, but once the sun broke and I could start seeing stuff, the feather was just there in the tree. And Randy, try the feather to see where the thing that the feather came from is. Does that work?
Yeah, I think so. That is my 1 5th level spell for the day, though. It's my only thing.
Well, how about we wait for nighttime?
What exactly are we doing today? We're just waiting or
I
trying
think
to get into
we're
Oldhallow?
gonna
Oh yeah.
walk and wait while we're walking or something.
Yeah, because our only lead for Oldhallow is wait, right?
And then there was a very long poem that I do not remember the content.
It was a song. It was all just saying the same thing.
Well, I worked hard on that.
Yeah. I thought
mean,
it was
I
a
could-
great song. Hi, Laura.
Oh my god, she's so dressed up nice.
Yeah.
Going to the theater.
The theater.
You're going to the theater. Oh, look at they're cute.
Aww.
What are you seeing at the theater?
Annie.
Oh my
The
gosh.
sun will come out
My
tomorrow.
old roommate loves Annie so much. It's insane.
My dad got tickets because he thought that Gabo would love it. So we're taking
Aw.
Gabo to go see Annie tonight.
Oh.
That's so sweet.
Gabo will also be dressed up.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll talk about
All right.
Bye,
Hey.
Laura.
Have fun.
Love you.
Mwah.
Bye.
Oh my gosh,
Aw.
he likes her. It's so. Oh my god, it's so embarrassing that we all know.
Haha, Mary.
Embarrassing for you.
All right, what were we doing?
I could cast locate creature. If it's around here still, it'll tell me.
I mean, I feel like if there was a big bird person around, we'd probably be able to.
Hold
I
on.
can see if
Find
it's a
him.
magic feather.
Hey! Hey! Big bird!
You're
I'm
shouting.
shouting really loud.
Your shouting goes unresponded to. But after a few moments of silence, you hear the shaking of a tree.
Holy
It-
shit.
and inevitably, a voice kind of goes, why do you speak so loudly in this old forest? You wake the trees.
Oh, sorry, I was looking for someone else.
Make a perception check.
20. Dirty.
You are able to see off to the left. So you're kind of like shouting in the opposite direction of camp, and on the periphery, you see this kind of large, ancient oak tree kind of shift and twist, and then inevitably kind of replant itself in the ground, staring at you, and these kind of like very tired-looking eyes carved into the bark begin to open, and it'll look at you and just, "You're being quite loud for such a quiet place."
Sorry, sir.
Yeah, my bad.
Hmm.
Have you seen
Hey.
any bird people around here?
Bird people? No. Only odd-looking people I've seen are you.
I will sort of hold up the feather and be like, Excuse me, sir, Mr. Tree. Do you know where this might have come from?"
My name is Scratch. I don't know where that feather came from, but I have thoughts about it.
Would you care to share them?
Not today, I don't think.
What if we could like? Is there anything you would like us to help you with? Maybe you could like do a little bit quid pro quo.
Quid pro quo. You give, I give. The forest gives much to you. You have given very little to the forest. But I am open to a tale. Randy, with your perception, you are able to see that this tree before you, by the way, the only time you've ever seen a tree talk to you. Actually, the only person here who's not surprised by this, or should be not surprised by this, is Branwyn, as she is familiar with this race.
I'm also not surprised by this because a tree talked to me yesterday.
Well, not in this context, though, but sure.
Not in this context.
Its bark is very withered, and it doesn't have any leaves upon its branches. And it's just like you can just tell from the notion of the. You can make a nature check actually, looking at it, recognizing that with advantage.
With advantage. 18.
You can tell that this tree is dying, and kind of nearing the end of its life.
Wait, so you want a story?
A story. Yes. I have witnessed much in this old forest, and I have been here since the rocks were boulders, and the ground beneath our feet quaked with new life. But very rarely do we see life in these parts. Perhaps you might bless an aging tree with a tail.
I'll just go up, plop on down in front of it.
A summer
can-
Eladrin. You
Yeah.
are far from home.
Yeah, I've been farther. Would you like to hear a story about a different plane?
Different plane. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna turn back. I'm like, you guys, I could just start walking. I'll catch up later. And
I
I'll
mean,
just
we were told to wait.
I want to hear
Okay.
the story.
I was just gonna rehash a little traveler's adventures in the material plane. And it's a very meta moment, Chris.
Go ahead.
Which story are you telling?
Yeah, I sit down. I'm ready to hear a story too.
I'll probably tell him about when I first got to the material plane and everything was weird and boring. And then we fought this crazy creature and I met some weirdos. But I do it much longer than that. It's very long.
Care to add any more detail?
Do you want me to just keep going and summarize the vein? I'll just keep talking.
Describe to me the story that you tell.
Oh my god. Okay, so I end up in a crazy different plane of existence and it's really weird. I help defeat a creature in the town square and I meet a bunch of weirdos. And then we go out into the woods to find more. Brandon's a much better storyteller. I'm trying not to be boring.
Stephanie, I think you have to do this. Like, commit
do
to the
I?
bit.
This is gonna be so long, Chris. I'm not prepared for a full summary of our entire adventure.
You don't have to fully summarize it.
Oh. What do you want from me right now? Now I'm scared.
Tell a story.
Why don't you tell the story about when we were in the Waltham ruins, and then when we fought Hans and Dady, and then Jesus Christ was there, and also Randy disappeared.
Give me a second, man.
I've got a pretty good story if you guys can't think of one.
Okay, you go because I didn't realize this was gonna be a whole big thing. Now I'm scared.
Okay. Yeah, so once upon a time there was a very large man. And he lived in the mountains with his family. And his name was Plonk. And every single day, Plonk would go around and interact with his many, many siblings. And every single one of them was really, really good at something. His brother, Boulder Killer, killed a boulder. He was very good at it. He killed a lot of stuff, but the biggest thing he ever killed was a boulder. And his other brother, River Lifter, lifted a whole river over his head and redirected it into the next village to give them water. And so on and so on for his 10 other siblings. And every single one was good at something and earned the respect and love of the community that they were in and their parents. Plonk had tried to lift things and he had tried to kill things and he had tried to do other things that would grant respect and found that he was really not very good at anything. His community and his parents said, hey, you got to go on a spirit journey. You got to go and get out of here. You got to go and find what you're good at because clearly it's nothing that we're good at. And Plonk said, fine. And Plonk walked away and walked and walked and walked for weeks and tried different things, but could barely feed himself, wasn't very good at finding any kind of water or survival resources, walked through the woods for a long time until he came across a city filled with small folk. And he looked at all the people and decided that he was going to start doing work as best as he could to support himself, to make to let him eat at all. And he did that, and he was fine for a while, and he did that for a year or two, finding that he wasn't particularly good at anything, but he could make himself a little bit of money to live. Just worked at a shop, nothing special. But one day a man came up to him and he seemed to be happy, and something that Plonk hadn't ever really seen before was a happy man, at least not as happy as this guy. And he followed him into his basement, invited, where he lived with his parents, and went into the basement and hung out with him and smoked a really cool thing called weed, and drank a lot and had a really good time. Now, this man was named Randy, and Plonk and Randy became best friends. Plonk lived in Randy's parents' basement with him for the next few months, for a year, for 3 years, stayed with him for a while, and became one of the happiest people that he could. Now, these tall people, they get their names from the deeds that they do. They get their names because they killed a boulder, because they lifted a river. Plonk had finally found his name, Randy. He decided to take on this man that he's met, the happiest man he's ever seen. And he went home and said, "Mom, Dad, my name is Randy now." And they said, "What are you good at?" And Randy said, "Well, I'm happy." And they said, "You're not our son." And then the guy left. And ever since then, he's been wandering around, being not very good at anything in particular. The end? Question mark.
You can make a performance check with advantage.
Bardic inspiration.
If he rolls like a 7 on that, it's bullshit and you know it.
Performance. $24.
The tree before you sits quietly, and most of your companions sit around you, a bit dumbfounded, the air kind of growing silent, and a decent amount of time has passed in the telling of this story. Uh, Finally, the tree kind of shifts and shakes just a bit, allowing some of the final few leaves upon its branches to descend off of them and land at your feet. That was a good tale, and I wish nothing but the best for Randy, wherever he may be. I pass on to you this wisdom, and you may use it well. To each of you, I'll turn to you, Branwyn. Denizens of your court often die in these woods, but there is one who still lives. I'll turn to you, Dunk. Your affliction is who you are. I can feel it coursing within you. Chase it. Do not run from it. Willem, he turns to you. A forgotten foe may be a worthy ally in the fights to come.
What?
And he will turn to you finally, Randy. It is a fitting name, Randy. And you are better at more than you know. I do not know where the feather came from, but when you have lived millennia as I have, and seen the world created around you, take care, for everything you believe to be true is true, and those that would doubt you are simply wrong.
What the fuck?
And with that, the tree grows silent.
Okay.
What a cool tree.
Each of you feel this kind of overwhelming pleasure ride over you. There's kind of like a warmth and a bliss that washes over you. And each of you can add a d4 to any skill check for the remainder of the day. And you receive the blessing of the forest, where difficult terrain does not impact you.
Is that forevers?
No, that's for a long rest.
Okay.
Could it be forever?
It's a long
Lucy.
rest.
But what if it was forever?
But what if it was a long rest?
guys, we just never have to long rest again.
Easy peasy.
All of us roll up to Sarafel, just bloodshot eyes, pale skin, looking haggard.
We've been
We
doing
haven't-
cocaine for weeks.
We haven't slept in weeks.
But hey, if there's any difficult terrain,
You're in the clear.
Unimpeded.
Did Cena not get any wisdom?
She did not. Sorry.
Characters.
I'm gonna walk over to
didn't
Randy
plan
and I'm
anything
gonna
for
give him a little hand on the shoulder.
Hello, Dunk.
That was a great story, Randy. Thank you for telling me it.
Yeah, thanks, man. I made it up. It,
Oh.
it wasn't
Insight
real.
check.
It was just a
Insight
tale.
check.
Yeah,
Insight.
Randy, you
Insight
can make
check.
a deception or a persuasion check.
15.
Nat
Oh,
one.
He is bold-faced lie.
Yeah.
Cena
Sure.
will actually approach you, Randy, and also kind of place her hand on your shoulder as like kind of high as she can, and just like kind of look up at you and just, you're good at a lot of things.
Thanks.
Willem will just go, Scramble Maker!
I'm pretty good at me. Oh, that's cute.
What was it?
Willem said, Scramble Maker.
He could be our scramble man.
Scramble Daddy.
No.
Mm,
He could call you Scram.
Also, like, not for nothing, but you are the chosen one of a goddess, so that's pretty cool.
That's true.
that's a pretty.
Yeah, but I haven't really done anything particularly helpful with that as of yet. But it doesn't matter. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
I
We
mean,
fought that
you
dude, and
sort
it was really entertaining.
you sort of saved our asses in Conway's Ferry when you came back from the Astral Sea.
To be fair, that was more Adara's timing than mine.
It was really cinematic, honestly.
Well, you know.
Whatever the cinema is, I don't know.
It was really scroll-o-matic.
Yeah.
Theatrical. There we go. There we go.
Theatrical.
Theatrical.
Nice. Safe to assume you all are sorkening, or are you staying here at camp?
If we do some Sorkinen, we can walk really fast now that the difficult terrain doesn't do anything. We can
truly-
walk through Thorn.
That is part of it. Like, you move over terrain faster.
We might as well.
It's really embarrassing that Cena and Ted don't, though.
No, they do. They everyone was partial to the blessing and the bliss.
Okay.
Even if the wisdom was not.
Are we
passed to
walking
them.
like we're on one of those airport walkways that's like low-key a treadmill?
It is kind of like that.
Oh my god.
The best thing I ever saw was one of those children on a leash, walking against so they're like going the opposite direction, and the dad was just like, it works, because they're just
Just
like
standing on the end holding the
perpetually
leash.
tiring themselves out. It was brilliant.
That is the dad move right
Yeah.
there.
It's like one of those dog treadmills, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Ah,
Can we do that with Ted?
you
For
all.
what?
He asked if we could do that with Ted, or you could do that with Ted.
Oh my gosh.
You all make your way through the woods, further down the well-trodden path. What is your marching order?
Randy
I'll
laughed.
hang out. Oh, I was gonna hang out in the back.
I'll go first.
Yeah, I'll be up by Willem.
Okay. Willem and
Can I make
Donkey.
a Sorkin Arcana check on the feather? By
Sure.
the way?
Our Sorkin check. Sorkana.
Sorkana.
Oh, that's a cool name.
Sorkana is a good name.
The Disney
Write that
trading
down,
card
Chris.
game is
Write
named
that down. Write that
Sorkana.
down.
If you're permitting me to make a Sorkana check, that would be flat 16.
You are able to discern that this feather is certainly magical in nature, or at least comes from a very magical being.
Pretty much figured that. Lends credence to the whole Alari-like beings theory. Do we have a name for that?
Bird.
Or
Yes, you
bird
do.
people?
Person.
Randy, you can
Yeah.
make a history check to remember.
Oh, okay. 14.
You recall guardians.
Oh,
Mm.
Sorry,
shit.
guardian. You hear them both referred to as guardians and sentinels.
Oh, I didn't realize they were bird people.
That's what I said.
People.
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 To the best of our knowledge, is Seraphel one of those, or was she one of those?
No, sentinels were like.
Chris just nodded his head yes.
Yes. Are you kidding? I've read the list to you 1,000 times.
I thought Seraphel was a champion.
They're the same thing.
Sentinels, guardians, and champions are all the same.
Yes.
I thought they were different.
Sorry.
It's okay.
They are the same.
Well, shit.
So Seraphil equals Alari.
What?
It's not the same person, but they are the same group.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Telling
you
me
could
there
phrase
is a
that
Yeah.
better.
difference.
All right.
Sorry.
I was like, that's huge. What the fuck?
Well, so you recall, as you're talking about this, also you can recall not only the list of Sentinels / Guardians / Champions. So, like in the modern context,
Regard a champ, please.
yes, the modern context, Randy, you have been referred to as a champion, and we're told that you are not the first. And through your discernment in reading the Etheric Compendium, have reasoned that these Sentinels, though often referred to as guardians in the later chapters, if you need a memory nudge of to why, are essentially champions of the gods as they were created in the god's image. And you recall in the Tomb of Alari that those names were all listed as well, except for Seraphil's. However, there was one that had been like chiseled out.
Scratched out. Mhm.
And they were all bird people?
Based on the art in the Tomb of Alari that Branwen recalls, they all had wings, yes. You also remember peculiar wing type bones on the actual skeleton of Alari.
Oh.
You were not there for that.
I wasn't.
Mm.
So, if Randy is a champion, does he get wings eventually?
It's the important question to ask in this very scenario right now.
Randy kind of like remembers all of this and is like his eyes widen and he goes, "Can I see that feather? I am gonna super scry this."
Yep, I give it to you.
Okay, wait, are we sure this is a good idea?
They won't know. Oh, yes, they will.
Also,
That's not how that works at all.
I mean, not for nothing, but they were watching us last night, evidently. So if whoever this belongs to wanted to do something, they
I
probably
think we know
could
who
have.
it belongs to, but we're just not saying it.
I
Because
mean,
it feels like it'd be bad if we said it out loud.
there
honestly.
could be more. There's a whole list from what I remember.
And it could be a big bird.
A magic
That's
bird,
the other
by the
option.
way.
I hope it's a big bird.
A magic bird, by the way.
Oh.
Definitely
Okay.
got a magical vibe to the
Can I-
bird.
can I? What's what's Cena doing right now?
She is walking alongside you all. And are you asking like for her response to Randy choosing to scry?
Yes.
She will grow hesitant and kind of echo your statement. Are here now? Or, like, are we sure that's a good idea?
Would it be worth waiting until we can do it in a tiny hut? So
I
That's
guess
at
that's
least like
fair.
little
a
camouflage.
little bit of protection.
Randy, I think you should do it now.
It really seems like, I mean, if they're nearby, I'd like to talk to this bird person.
If whoever it belongs to wanted to snatch me up yesterday or this morning while I was taking watch, they could have done it.
Do you want me to make a tiny hut right now? Because I can.
Is the point of the tiny hut us just hiding in it?
Well,
That's
nothing that I don't want to come through can come
But also
through.
they could just wait for the spell to be over.
Sorry, I froze for a second, but I assume I didn't miss
Yeah,
anything.
but that's like a whole day. That's a whole. That's a long time.
That's why I'm
Yeah.
saying if whoever wanted us, if this entity wished harm on us, I think they probably would have just
And
done it.
spells can't pass through it either. So
Hey, Dunk, what do you think?
I think being able to do it inside of a tiny hut would be worthwhile. If nothing else, just for the camouflage.
That makes sense. Hey, Ted, what do you think? You gotta poll all the members of the group before we make a big decision. This is
I'm sorry, I
important.
don't even know what it is exactly we're talking about.
say
Feather.
yes or no.
Yes.
Oh God.
I give Ted a high five.
He just like excitedly returns, but he's gnome size, so it's more of like a leap and a
Oh,
like
that's cute.
Yeah.
That's very cute.
Man, Ted, I didn't know you and Willie were like this.
Yeah, yeah. All right. If it's well, we can wait. We can wait till tonight.
If it would also make you feel better later on, I could use disguise self on you and make you not you.
Well, if you're hell bent on doing this though, and things go bad, I mean, I guess we're fresh right now.
Yeah.
Willem's like starts bouncing up and down excitedly.
Yeah. All right. Let's.
Fuck.
All
All
right.
right.
We
For the
stop
record, I
the-
still think this is a terrible idea, but if it's gonna happen, we might as well try to make the scenario at least okay.
Cena, you cool with this?
No. But if everyone insists that it is the best course of action for the moment at
I don't
hand,
think it's the best course of action.
I'll support you.
I'd rather us do this
Cool.
all together instead of just Randy going rogue and doing it by himself, which I feel like he would do.
I would never do that. I would never do
Insight
something without
check.
insulting the
Insight
whole
check.
group.
23, you little turd, man.
Yeah, we can stop wherever we're walking for a moment, and I take the feather and I concentrate real hard, and I cast
He eats a little bit of it.
scrying, which okay.
Oh wait,
Based
I'm making a tiny hut.
Oh, okay, we can do that too.
Oh well, I thought that was part of the plan.
It is now. It was
Would you
before,
like-
I think, too.
Would you like to be protected from good or evil?
Couldn't hurt, I guess.
I will protect Randy from evil.
Or good.
Tiny hut.
If it's
a
a
tiny hut.
I think it's no, I don't know what it is.
Oh no, it's all of it. Your protection from aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead.
Celestial will probably be the one that helps here, actually. And I cast it. I get whoever is doing the save has a save modifier of -5 because I have a body part of it, but I don't know them. I just have heard of them through a painting, I guess. So they get +5 because of that.
So what is the DC?
It's
So it's negated then. It's just a straight roll.
no.
it's-
The body part gives them a -10, but
Oh, okay.
the
Got it. -5
second
overall.
hand gives them +5, so it's -5 overall.
Perfect. Thank you.
And it's a wisdom save of 16. Something still happens if I fail, so just let me know.
You failed.
The spell creates an invisible sensor within 10 feet of the target, so I can see and hear through the sensor as if I was there. It moves with the target, remaining within 10 feet for its duration. A creature that can see invisible objects sees my sensor.
So it still works, even though you
Wait,
failed.
sorry. It succeeded on its save.
Yes.
Never mind. Nothing happens. I read it also wrong.
Okay.
It just isn't affected, but it doesn't know that I used it. And
Okay.
I go, yeah, that didn't work.
Hmm.
Drag in 24 hours.
It was a good effort, man.
Yeah.
If everything just worked the first time, our adventure would be a lot shorter.
Super true. Can I keep this feather?
Oh yeah, that's yours.
Thanks, man. And I put it away.
Do you think you're gonna start growing feathers soon?
No, because do you have any idea what kind of wingspan would needed to be that I'd need to have to support this body?
Probably a big one. But that would
Yeah,
be
there's
kind of
no way. There's no way that I can grow wings that big.
Unless
That'd
you're
be-
going by like bumblebee physics.
That's true.
You could
Or
grow
dragon.
bumblebee wings.
Yeah.
How embarrassing would that be if all the other guardians had, angel wings and Randy got bumblebee wings?
Or butterfly wings.
That would be
Um,
sick as hell.
That would be
He'd
awesome.
so fragile.
Yeah,
He'd be so
Super cool with
fragile.
butterfly wings.
He gets one hit and he's plummeting, man.
Yeah, you can't be out in the rain like that.
It's true.
You can keep
Can you
walking.
imagine? I have these wings, but I can't fly in the rain.
Well, this was an experience. And now we just have this tiny hut, or are we gonna keep going?
We can keep going.
Right?
Sorry to waste your tiny hut.
That's fine.
You all persist on your way. Assuming Willem and Dunk continue to lead the line, I will have you make an active perception check for your adventure through the woods.
5.
19.
Dunk, after some time, about 2.5 hours of walking, you hear an interesting, sequence of well-aligned grunts, like huh, huh, and heavy footsteps that seem to be approaching on the road,
Yeah, I
almost
think
like
something's coming.
the marching of soldiers.
Sounds like we've got a group of people coming up. Maybe we should duck off the road for a second.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay, I will have each of you make stealth checks if you are attempting to hide in the woods.
I am.
That's the
Unless
thing.
we go or not.
I'm so bad.
Ooh.
Hmm.
21.
Can you be worse than a nat 1?
Oh, 15.
I got a 10.
Ted rolled a 2.
Tag.
So Randy, Willem, and Ted, you all like kind of dive off of the roads. Bramwin and Dunk and Cena quickly kind of slither into the shadows, and the three of you kind of look around frantically for a bush or a tree or something to hide behind. And like Randy, your just gargantuan form is very easily visible from behind the very thin tree you decide to place yourself behind. Ted barely tries. He's kind of seated on a rock, like looking at his fingers and like
His
articulating
fingers?
them. Yeah, he's like articulating fingers. And Willem, you are like just your armor shifts so loudly that even though you're positioned well enough, you're still very clearly audible from the main road.
Flag.
The rest of you, however, can see a palanquin making its way down the road, hoisted aloft by three Eladrin on either side, with kind of like dark brown skin tones. They have like each of them have their hair pulled back into a very tight bun and the sides of their head shaved, um, and they just kind of like huff, huff, and like they move in a very rhythmic way. Like they're not attempting to move quickly; they are deliberately moving loudly, efficiently, and specifically as they make their way down the road. Seated atop the palanquin is like there is no roof to it. It's kind of like very easily visible within it. Is a rather overweight and rotund-looking satyr who has a like lengthy purple robe that kind of drapes down over his entire body, and he kind of like scans the road. And as he does so, inevitably his eyes catch on the three of you off to the side, and he holds up a very like his fingers look like tiny little Vienna sausages because they are just so rotund and thick. And he like calls me
Baron Harkonnen.
sure. um, just enough. We stop here. I see people in the woods. You three, to the side of the road immediately.
Have you seen a bird around here? Or a bird person?
I have
guess we'll
seen.
amble on out.
I have seen no birds. I see only strangers in the midst of the dread hollow. Yes, Brandon.
Do I recognize this guy?
You do not. What
Yep.
brings you
This-
to the Dreadwood Forest?
We're trying to find the way to Oldhallow.
Guests in Oldhallow, where do you hail from?
We're from the material plane.
Not him though, I say, and I point to Ted.
Planewalkers. Planewalkers wishing to gain entrance to Oldhallow. What business do you have in the Autumn Court?
I have heard that there are remarkable scholars in the Autumn Court, and our robot automaton friend here just talks incessantly, and so we were hoping that we might be able to get his module fixed to make him stop doing that so much.
Make a persuasion check.
I'm imagining a sitcom where Willem and Randy raised Ted as a child.
Our robot son, that would be a 16.
He looks you up and down. I see. Though I must relent to you that automatons are not common in Oldhallow, nor are they anywhere in the Autumn Court. Regrettably, I doubt you'll find anyone who may be of service to you. But you are still welcome to try. You bear the touch of the Feywild. Your mortal friends, however, they must explain themselves at once. What business do you have in the city? And he looks to you, Randy and Dunk.
And Dunk.
Dunk
I
is
thought Dunk was
Oh, sorry,
Randy.
yes, Randy and Ted. Yeah, just Randy now, because Ted has kind of been explained.
Oh, yeah, we're partners. So I'm also doing the robot thing.
That's my husband.
Oh, I meant like friend partners.
Do you say that out loud?
Yeah.
Oh, Willem is just going to like panic eyes and then go, well, that's news to me. I didn't know you felt that way. I thought we had something special.
Yeah, like we're really good friends.
Oh, not quite what I meant. And I turn to the satyr and I'm just like, I'm so sorry. This is not, something that we should trouble you with.
He's
Make
gonna kill his mom too, or one of them.
I beg your pardon. Willem, you can make a performance check with advantage to attempt to convince them of your deception.
It's really good you gave me advantage because I rolled a 1 and an 18. So that's a 20 dirty.
Okay.
And I'll go, yeah, I said some stuff when I was really angry about how I was going to kill my mom because she doesn't, accept the lifestyle that I have adopted, being sort of a vagrant with an automaton and a man who doesn't love me.
The satyr atop the leans back and like his eyes soften a bit. He's, my word. Well, you may not be from here, but you certainly fit the bill of drama. Though I must warn you, Oldhallow is not a place for your squabbles. That said, you have impressed me. Your plight is worthy of a bard's lament, and I have no doubt that one will be written. You may look me up when you are in Oldhallow, Lord Knob-Nat.
Knob
Say that
Nat.
again?
Knob-Nat.
No.
Oh,
It is not often that we have guests, and your peculiarities intrigue me. Now I must make all due haste to continue to survey our domain. There are plenty of ragamuffins about with the wild hunt convening.
Oh, yes.
I
No
expect that is not what
ragamuffins
you
with
are
them.
doing.
Oh, not at all. I mean, I'm not much of a hunter. And I used to be wild, but those days are behind me.
You are a saucy one. Very well. Very
Am I
well.
being hit on?
He's gonna
No.
make you his Fade Rotha. Oh my god.
No, you're not, but he is just like intrigued and tickled by you. Very well. You're not far from the city now. You proceed on the main road, and I have no doubt that you will find it. But mind yourself. Outsiders are not typically welcome in the city. But consider yourselves... I don't want to say the word allies of mine, but not adversaries. And I hope to see you in the city.
I'm gonna do my best impression of Branwyn's dramatic bow.
Make a
It's not
performance check.
dramatic.
Did you want me to roll something?
Yeah, make a performance check.
Okay. That would be an 11.
He is impressed by the attempt, but he does like grimace at your attempt in general. Like you see him go,
I also grimace.
it needs some work. But you're making progress. Impressive. Chop chop! There is much to survey. And you hear the men all rhythmically grunt and begin their procession down the road.
He is Baron Harkonnen.
what a cool guy.
Yes, the rest of you
Yeah.
are able to kind of slink out from the woods, seeing Lord Knob-Not make his way further down the road in the opposite direction.
I'm just gonna look at Randy and sort of like grimace a little bit and be like, sorry if that got weird. When you said partner, I thought,
No, you're good, man. Look, we're all partners here. Every one of us is equal, you know.
yeah, but that's not what I thought. It's fine. I do love you, but it's not in like a romantical way.
Oh, I love you too, man. That means a lot. It's cool of you to say.
And I'm gonna turn to Ted and we'll go, "You did a great job being quiet."
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I feel like we should give him a little treat. Like, what does he?
Does he
What does
eat
he
like
eat?
nails?
Oh, I don't require sustenance. It's one of the nicer things about being an automaton. When you're millennia old as I am, it's nice not to have to worry about food.
Sick.
Well, maybe if we find some like metal polish in Oldhallow, we can, make.
Oh,
you
I
some
could do with a
shiny
tune-up, and he kind of like shifts his arm around, and you just hear like as they like shift in their.
We all just are like,
unbearable
"Ugh."
screeching.
I'm sure
feel
they
like
have
we should,
something
like-
WD-40 in Old Hollow.
Oh yeah, we love the fantasy WD-40. The W stands for wizard.
The D stands for dragon.
Wizard Dragon 40.
The 40, that's just the number 40.
Yeah,
That just sounds like a crazy like Four Loko type beverage.
it
Like,
does actually.
Wizard Dragon 40. Let's go. Oh my gosh, Chris!
What?
You should make that a cocktail.
Oh,
Wizard Dragon 40.
that would be
The
good.
40
Okay.
stands for ounces.
The 40 is a 40 ounce.
And you have to make a promiscuous girl.
I do have the
Yeah.
promiscuous girl recipe for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
I should make like a Yusman cookbook.
when we
It'll
really
have
when we really
promiscuous girls, wizard dragon 40s, and scramble.
that's it. That's all it
That's it.
needs.
You don't need anything else.
It's a
Oh, and
zine.
the surf and turf from the
Oh, and perpetual soup.
Perpetual
tentacle
soup.
thing.
That's right.
And the drink that makes you forget your problems.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
the one-
It's just never clear.
That's,
And the one-
that's just Rohit. That's just
Wait,
Rohypnol.
no, put that in the clip. Put 2 in the recipe is 1 liter of Everclear.
You all
That's a
continue
great idea.
along your way,
Oh my
and as
God.
you make your way
Coffee's
further,
tea. Sorry.
that's okay. You make your way further down the road, and just based on the speed at which you've been walking, it is evening time. By the time you inevitably start to hear the crash of waves, and the forest begins to thin just a bit. But after some time, you can actually kind of look out along the horizon and start to see like ocean, or at least a never-ending sea that that begins to get closer and closer in your perspective.
You can just see peyote at the end of the lake. That was funny.
Um,
Oh god.
well, yeah, it's just walking. Sorry, I had something, but then I lost it.
Can I fall into step with Cena
Sure.
as we're walking?
Mhm.
Now I'm just gonna message into our head. How you doing?
Everybody else go on mute.
Now I'm scared.
Especially if you're doing it in her head. I hear a voice back. She's, well, I'm okay. I'm kind of glad that we didn't. Well, at least we weren't successful earlier. How are you doing?
Okay. I'm sorry for just leaving in the middle of that argument last night.
I get it.
Thanks for sticking up for me though.
Yeah, of course. I know you do the same for me.
Well, I didn't last night, and I'm sorry about that.
I get it. If I'm being honest, I feel like we had like that moment. Feels like forever ago now, but it was just a couple days ago. It was the happiest I've been in a very long time. And just because it's like all happening in your mind, you kind of see her kind of chuckle a little bit, like she like chuckles out loud. And she's come back, she's, we didn't miss our moment, right? With everything.
I think it just got put on pause since everything went to shit all of a sudden.
Maybe we can find a place in the city and just take a night to ourselves.
Maybe not a bathhouse this time.
Not a bathhouse. Pretty much anywhere else. So you've never
Yeah,
been here
yeah,
before?
yeah.
Like, do you know
No,
of any places?
no.
Then it'll be an
I'll
adventure.
I'll send him. Yeah, 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 yeah. And then we just keep walking.
Okay. Can bring everybody back. Um, Inevitably, you all continue to walk until the only thing you note as Bramwin and Cena kind of walk side by side is a brief chuckle from Cena. But beyond that, you hear no words. And ultimately, you reach a point where you can really go no further. The road kind of just ends at a cliff face and kind of gives way to very rocky, cliff-laden terrain. It still goes on for quite a while before it reaches a shoreline, but like there's plenty of space ahead of you. But the road ends, and you would be descending into a valley of rather very rocky shoreline. In some places, you can see that the water kind of feeds in from the ocean, sea. You're not exactly sure what it is, and for the first time, the trees start to thin a bit of the Dreadwood, where, like, up until this point, they've been pretty close together, not unlike many of the forests that you're used to in Yusan. And as you kind of scan in different directions, you don't see anything besides the kind of like endless sea, and then off to the distance in the west, and at the tail end of the Shimmer Peak Mountains, kind of floating off into and off of the continent.
Hey, that's where we were.
Did we pass it?
This might be where
No,
we have to wait.
Is it a nice day?
It's a relatively nice day.
Willem is gonna sort of turn to everybody and be like, I think we gotta wait, so I think I might go take a swim.
aren't we on a cliff?
Yes.
Is there a way to get down to the beach, or is he just gonna jump off a cliff because
Fairly treacherous, but you could invest probably about a half a day getting down to the shoreline.
Is it
How
is it difficult terrain?
It is difficult terrain.
A quarter of a day.
It would not take you nearly as long,
how
but it
far is
would.
the drop?
Well, this particularly, because you're not like necessarily on a cliff per se. You're on a cliff that like kind of slopes down into very rocky terrain. Are you familiar with the final episodes of Avatar: The Last Airbender, where it's like all those pillars of stone?
No.
Okay. Well, it's a lot of pillars of stone and then the
are
water line.
you familiar with The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson? Is it the Shattered Plains?
I'm not.
Are you familiar with The Emperor's New Groove, the Disney film where he says sharp rocks at the bottom, most likely?
It is kind of like that.
Okay.
Okay.
Finally.
We
Do you
got
wanna get the
there.
header?
Yeah. Sharp rocks most likely will give me a little bit of pause. I was gonna see if I could just face step down there, but it's probably more than 30 feet.
It
Do,
is.
do you want to use the hither staff? That's 1,500 feet.
Is there a little beach down there?
Yeah.
Cool.
Beach
Brandon's
episode!
not going down there.
Yeah, you could hither thither me.
Yeah, I'm gonna bloop bloop. I don't know the sound effect, but
It's like that, actually. We'll say it's like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the portal opens on the cliffside, and you are able to get it reasonably close to eventually arrive at the shoreline within a 20-minute walk. Is just Willem going, or is anyone else going?
I'm gonna go down to the beach too.
I'll hang out up here for a little while.
Okay.
But I
So
might come down later.
Probably
Bramwin,
nothing bad will happen to us.
Randy,
I'm not
Cena,
going.
you all wait up at the top. Willem and Dunk, you arrive down at the beach. It's fairly cool down here, and as you kind of stand on the shoreline and feel the sand beneath your toes, you kind of realize how long it's been since you've been to a place like this. Like, there's obviously beaches around Trowwood and Westwatch, but this is more like the sand is very firm and compact beneath your feet. It's very almost drenched and inundated with a water that clearly comes up at some portion of the day or night, and it's very dark in color, almost volcanic. But the water does inevitably kind of rush around your feet, and it's not cool, but it's also not warm, or rather not cold, but not warm either. Kind of somewhere in between, um, swimmable if you would care to. But it's a very quiet beach where nobody is.
I sort of hands on my hips, look at Duncan, and go. Truthfully, I thought this was going to be a little bit nicer before we came here.
It
You know, I
sounds
mentioned
really
you.
nice. What are you on?
Yeah, it's a nice
I
beach.
expected the water to be warmer.
It's the autumn court.
Well, Chris, you grew up on Long Island, so you should know this. Into the autumn, the water stays warm because water has a very high specific heat.
Well, I don't like sand, so I don't go to the beach.
Okay.
See, and then
Well.
you're explaining this to me and Bort, who grew up up in the Midwest where everything's cold all the time.
It's true.
Yeah, 'cause we only got lakes here.
It's
And then
so
I'm from
cold.
the South where everything's hot all the fucking time.
Mmm, delicious. Uh, so you want to go for a swim or like?
Um, I mean, while we're down here, I guess I'll just kind of like, is there a way like where like a place I can sit where I'm not like in the water, but just kind of like watching the water and just kind
Yeah,
of
you can
chill?
kind of back up a little from the water line and just sit in the sand.
Yeah, just kind
I'll
of watch
sort
the beach, listen to the
I'll
waves.
sort of do you want to talk, or are you trying to like have a peaceful time?
Um, we can chat.
Oh, I was just wondering how you felt about that tree saying that your condition makes you who you are and to embrace it and not run from it.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. It's honestly a little frustrating. Because like I don't know, did who I am like really change in that moment, or has this always been a part of me? You know?
How do
Um,
you feel?
yeah, I guess I'm feeling like I need to figure this out, and I don't think that that Draken Voss is going to be the way to do it. If he finds something out, he's not gonna let me in on it because he's.
Uh,
I'm coming around to your way of thinking, man. I think he is a total dick.
oh, that the guy who keeps slaves and, would regard you as a scientific curiosity probably isn't a great dude.
Study me like a bug.
Yeah, yeah. He's so. I don't know. I was so filled with hope that I could find some kind of answer, and then just be told like, "Fuck, I don't know," was was not it, you know. But this tree, like, what do we know about this tree? What like?
It's an
I mean,
old
I've never heard a talking tree, so I don't know if they're trustworthy or not. But
I mean, he seemed like a cool guy. He seemed old and liking new things. He liked Randy's story. I don't know. I think if he meant to harm us, he probably could have, but it is unusual that he not only knew our names, but wisdom about our lives.
yeah, like maybe. I mean, this is the Feywild. Maybe he was just like fucking with us.
It's possible. A lot of people are not what they appear to be at first here.
Yeah.
Also, like I don't I don't think you should do this, but if it really gets bad, you could probably ask Gwen to fix your condition.
That is a interesting idea.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I still think we should kill her, but just like if it's between you dying or killing Gwen, I'd rather have you not die.
I appreciate that, but we signed a blood oath,
We did sign a
and we're
blood
gonna
oath.
kill that hag. Although, hold on, let's back up a second. Like,
Yeah.
how do you feel about killing the hag? Like,
Oh, I am still incredibly pro hag killing.
so it is because we're down, like, one down, two to go.
Yeah,
Uh,
and
and
there's
then,
one in Oldhallow, not for nothing.
yeah, but like, then like what? Then you die.
So weird thing happened. That was my assumption, but when I told Gwen that, she like was surprised. So either she didn't know, or maybe there's more to the story.
Hmm. Well, I certainly hope that's the case.
Yeah, and like
If not,
what? Sorry,
then we
go
can at
ahead.
least, like, I was to say, it's like, if not, then we can just kill two of your hag mothers and then kill other hags and leave that one.
No, Gwen's got to go. She's like the mother of all hags.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I read about it in a book. It's like bad. Yeah, her name's not really Gwen. It's like, or she's called like the Baba Yaga, or that's my assumption.
Well,
Yeah,
Bobby Yaga, Gwen, whatever. He's a bitch.
yeah, she's kind of a bitch. Yeah, I don't know. When I talked to her the other day, I was trying to like figure out what she wanted with me and everything, and she was basically like, "Oh, if you join me, we can rule over the Feywild and dismantle the courts, and you could be in charge of everything." And yeah, I don't, I don't like the sound of that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think these people are doing a great job over here, but I don't think she'd do any better.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know that, like, you really dislike really authoritative, like, institutions and people telling you what to do.
Hmm.
So I can imagine the temptation there of like dismantling this government and shaping it in your own image. But
I mean, I'm
I'm
trying to be realistic about it. Like, I don't know that I could do any better. I'm just like
pretty well.
one guy, and sometimes I'm like, what if there was nobody in charge? What
Yeah,
if we were just people?
yeah. It's a great life, gotta tell you. Lived that way for a long time.
Yeah. Do you feel like you've changed since the whole Celazite incident? Besides, obviously, your physical affliction.
Um, it's definitely broadened my perspective. The you know, Before it was just like, it was our little band and nothing else
Hmm.
mattered. And now we're fighting a god, right? Kind of.
Saving the world, I guess.
Yeah.
Preventing the apocalypse. Yeah, no, it's a big change. Big
Yeah.
change.
And I can read. I've never really had to before. Um, Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. Is that like weird for you with like Tilly teaching you how to read? And I know like Cena was teaching you how to read a little bit too. But like I felt like you really nailed it with Tilly and then we had to kill her.
That was a bummer. Yeah, that was a bummer. But I don't regret it. She fucked with us.
Yeah. People
Um,
shouldn't do that.
Absolutely.
And we're not gonna let Draken I am not gonna let Draken fuck with you. I'm not
Appreciate it,
gonna
man.
let him study you like a bug.
There was a point where I thought about, what, like fuck it, maybe I should just let him study me like a bug, just be his little bug boy. But
But then you'll wind up like Hansen and you'll have weird robot arms and won't remember anything.
I'm not gonna lie, those robot arms are kind of cool. But yeah, it's not worth it.
you are destined for so much more than to be one of his little bug robots.
I think we all are.
That's why we're gonna kill him, and then I'm gonna set all the robots free. And also that orb lady.
We've got to figure out what's going on with the orb lady. So, like, I feel like we can't really kill him until we figure out, because he's the only. If anybody knows what's up with the orb lady, he's the only one that would.
I mean, you know who else would probably know about the orb lady a lot is the orb lady.
She didn't have a whole lot to say.
She was like, "You're close. Let me out of here."
Um,
We didn't really have time for a conversation, though. You're right. Do you want to Sorkin back to the rest of everybody, or I guess we
Yeah.
don't really have to Sorkin considering we got a staff.
Yeah. This beach was nice though.
Yeah.
A little chilly, but glad to talk.
I like our little chats.
Yeah.
Don't tell anybody, but you're kind of my favorite out of the group. I
Aw,
just feel like you get me.
yeah. I gotta say while we're walking back, I think you were right to obviously to like go and talk to Gwen at the tree.
Mhm.
Y- Maybe like don't make it a secret next time, Like don't be a stranger.
Yeah. No, you're right. I was afraid of how people would react, and some people reacted more poorly than others, but some people were pretty cool about the whole thing.
I think the more information we have, the better.
Sure. Yeah, we
So
probably shouldn't keep secrets from each other so much anymore, or have private little conversations in our heads with each other that we don't tell anybody else about. Not that I would know anybody doing that, but
well, that's kind of like half of our party's thing is being able to have like send telepathic messages.
yeah, but like don't keep it a secret, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
I don't know.
Branwyn, Randy, and Cena, what are you doing during this time?
How much time?
I'll say they've been gone probably about an hour.
Oh,
At one point, I'm like, I wonder what the deal was with that lady in the orb. It's crazy.
I guess I should ask, is there anything you'd like to do during this time?
I think we're just chilling. I'll play a little song.
Okay.
I would like to read from the Etheric Compendium.
Okay. To take in one of your potions of comprehension and
Yes.
pull out the etheric compendium. Where are you pulling it, or like where are you hoping to jump into?
Hold on, let me look through my notes.
I guess it would also be helpful because I haven't really been tracking what I've told you. I just have lots of stuff. So you can give me a quick recap of like what you know. That'd be great.
Okay. I know about the wars. I'm looking for I'm gonna look for things that like confirm that this tree is really a tree and actually exists, because Draken Voss was like pretty convinced that it doesn't exist.
Okay.
I'm gonna look for that. I'm gonna look for information on. I guess I haven't like really consulted the book since we've learned about Seraphel, so I'm gonna look for any Seraphel related things. I think I've seen her name in the book before, so those are my two goals here.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your first wisdom saving throw.
Okay. Um, 17.
Okay. So it's fairly easy for you to kind of crack open the book and start scanning. I'm sorry, I already forgot what your first question was. It
Uh,
was the tree. Finding out the tree is where,
tree?
yes. Yes. So you kind of jump back to the end of the Convergence, like basically a third of the way through the book, towards the end of the Convergence Wars. Um, and you do end up reading like an entire chapter about what is the World Tree. And as it's described in the compendium, is a cosmic entity that defies the traditional laws of reality and instead defines them. So it maintains the separation of the planes as best as it can. And the book goes on to describe the fact that the tree was created by the gods because they didn't want to have to continuously maintain these worlds. So, like, the Convergence Wars began because they all went off and there were far more gods than originally like were there, and so they were all off creating their own worlds, creating their own universes, and they were starting to crash into one another and basically rip the reality of the universe apart. And is what led to the Convergence Wars to begin with. And that was because the gods ultimately couldn't be bothered to maintain them in such a way that was meaningful. So they planted the World Tree essentially to abscond themselves of the work required of maintaining the planes. So it defies the laws and layers of reality and maintains the separations of the planes. And ultimately, the Sentinels were charged with guarding the tree and ensuring the stability of the multiverse. It has a lot of details about its kind of nature and like the general like significance in maintaining cosmic balance, but it doesn't really describe like any more than the fact that it is a giant tree and doesn't really define like how you as an individual might perceive it. If you have follow-up questions to that, I'll have you make another wisdom saving throw specific to that, or you can move on to Seraphil stuff.
I'm gonna move on to. I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna DM it to you though.
Okay.
Is this secret lore? Oh no.
Okay. Go on.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna look for Seraphil related stuff now. Specifically, like if she is a sentinel, and like each one was created like from a god, and they're like avatars of gods. What avatar is Seraphil? Because I've asked a bunch of people, no one seems to know. One, that. Two, why the hell doesn't she know where the tree is if she's supposed to guard it?
Okay. I'll have to make two wisdom saving throws for that. Because you're gonna be looking for like two distinctly different things.
Okay, for the first one, 19.
Okay.
What a
The
wise
second
boy.
one, can I use my inspiration here?
Did you
Or
not
whatever
already? I think you
the
already.
D4?
Yes, you can apply your D4 here if you'd like.
Cool. I don't think it's gonna matter. Oh, maybe it will. 17.
Okay. For the first piece, which is, um, you're just looking for general Seraphil stuff.
First one is, yeah, like general
Like
Seraphil
what image,
history,
like and whose image was she created, etc.
yeah,
And then where is the tree?
early Seraphil stuff. We already
Okay.
know all the mid Seraphil stuff.
I will have everybody else go on mute.
Oh shit! Important lore.
Okay. So as you kind of scan through the pages, you have a general
Hold
understanding
on,
of
I just deafened myself like an idiot. All right, sorry. I'm good now.
as you scan through the pages, you have a general idea of where you need to go to find these things, especially like when it comes to the creation of the Sentinels themselves. What you understand is that like the gods. So it was sorry. It was Thalor and Olea, who ultimately like kind of led the charge for the creation of these individuals. Unlike what you see yourself as and know yourself as, they were kind of created by committee. They are not individually tied to individual deities. Um, and so there was more so like the prime deities, Olea, Thalor, Eloin, Silas, Morn, Adara, Brannock, and Kayla, got together and said, "We're going to win this war. And to do it, we need the best soldiers." And so they created these kind of like demigod warriors that were imbued with their powers and sent them off as generals to lead their forces in the battles against the other gods. And ultimately, when the convergence wars were complete, they planted the world tree and tasked the sentinels with guarding it and maintaining the balance of the world tree. The book describes it as like a solemn oath that each of them took in due service of their gods. Um, the Many of the pages that describe the individual champions you can read about, whenever there are mentions of Seraphil, the next few pages tend to be removed. And like your growing frustration has you kind of lingering and going back and forth between the pages. So your second save is not as successful, but you are able to kind of begin to parse together some pieces, specifically around like the end. So you kind of jump to the end of the book to search for like why doesn't Seraphil know where it is. And the book does not describe, or at least to your knowledge, based on the pages that are missing, describe anything about where it is itself. So you cannot really find an answer to this question. Um, However, what you can see as you kind of scan through some of the pages is just some of the names that chose to leave. So some of the Sentinels departed after centuries and inevitably millennia of service. Specifically, um, Valerian ultimately ended up swearing a separate secret oath to protect a particular mortal realm that at the moment is unclear to you and means to protect it against essentially the same divine decree that he made to guard the world tree. And he inevitably left the stewardship of the tree behind and was among some of the first to leave. You can read a few that ultimately like depart their service. Um, but Seraphil's name continues to be mentioned, but pages are torn out as you read through them. However, given the difficulty reading through these pages, you do feel this kind of deeper, dark feeling kind of tugging at the back of your mind as you get like increasingly frustrated reading through the pages, trying to find the answer that you cannot currently seek, or like trying to seek the answer you cannot currently find.
Can I knowing that there's like okay, so I got like a bunch of pages that are ripped out already
Mm-hmm.
that we got from that guy that I already forgot the name of.
Malin.
Malin, thank you. Can I like skim those and make sure like is Seraphil mentioned on any of those pages?
Make a wisdom saving throw at
And then I'd like to
disadvantage.
read those pages if she is.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. That's pretty good. 25.
So you are able to quickly scan through the pages, and ultimately you find two. that detail Seraphil in a bit more specificity, though the stories aren't about her specifically. What you do find is um, a story about Neria, who was one of the last remaining. This page is clearly towards the end of the book. Neria is one of the last remaining sentinels to still steward the world tree, and it writes about her particular like affinity for humanity. She clearly has a great affection for like a burgeoning civilization that is starting along the coast. Is all that it starts to like kind of describe. It doesn't like name a particular location. Um, and that Neria and Seraphil had frequent arguments over the nature of their duty and whether it was to see to that the denizens of this new world were guided thoughtfully or if it was to guard the tree itself. Neria ultimately makes a decision to give up her immortality to continue to shepherd um, those denizens, like the humanity that builds along the coastline. And the page ends with a brief de- description of Seraphil's intense anger and feeling of betrayal at that. The other page that you find describes Zephyron, who had a on again, off again kind of feud with Seraphil. And Zephyron was described as like a tinkerer, and had a lot of affinity for building things, and had previously suggested, kind of, for lack of a better word, like enchanting or automating the stewardship of the world tree. And this was something that Seraphil took great offense to, and the subject that like this was their sworn duty to take this on, and not meant to be something that they bequeathed to beings not of themselves, given that they were of higher powers and sworn to hold this particular role.
Okay.
I'll say it's about an hour.
Sure.
So I'm going to bring the group back here. But you do, so Brink can come back. Willem, assuming he's listening.
Use not.
Dunk's here. Is Willem?
Yep.
Okay. Willem and Dunk, you kind of return through the hither portal as Randy appears to be kind of just combing over and like ripping pages out from his satchel and holding them up to different parts of the etheric compendium, which to you, you cannot read, but appears to be like he's like almost like fitting pieces into a puzzle. And ultimately, Randy, at the kind of turn of the hour, your vision starts to fade and you're unable to really glean the glyphs that make up the book itself.
Or
Motherfucking every single thing on Seraphel is ripped out. Like, these pages are just lost. I mean, there's like some stuff about how she like just didn't get along with any of the other Sentinels, but like that's kind of it.
oh, that seems deliberate.
Yeah, I kind of think that Thalariel might have the rest of these, but I guess we'll see.
Do you think Thalariel is the one who ripped them out?
Didn't Zoltar tell us something about that?
Yeah.
Thariel is the one who wrote it, right, Chris?
Correct.
But
Yeah,
didn't Zoltar want the missing pages?
He did.
How is Zoltar in on all of this?
Does it say at least who, like, whose god she was?
No, it seems like Thalor and Olea, they just kind of made a bunch of individuals all at once, and like they led the charge, and all the gods like kind of commissioned, like they were all kind of more of committee based things. So not every sentinel has like a 1-to-1 god. relationship. So, but Alari does. Chris?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I thought Alari was the champion of Adara.
So Adara did say that she was one of her champions, but based on what you've just read, she means it like collectively as one of the prime deities.
Got it.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, like none of them are 1-to-1. It's just they're all just kind of like
God adjacent. They all made them.
like I'm the only one that's
Specifically bound to Adara.
Okay, well that's fun.
Uh,
Can I ask an ignorant question?
You're ignorant.
To me or to Randy?
To Randy.
oh, yeah, yeah.
Why doesn't Adara just like tell you what she knows?
I kind of think she has. I get the feeling that Adara doesn't know that much.
Wasn't she like there while it all was going down?
Oh, I guess I could ask.
Well, I don't know. It just feels like important information to leave out. So maybe she doesn't know, but I thought God sort of knew lots of things.
Yeah, next time I talk to her, I'll ask her all about it.
Cool.
Cool.
But there's one more thing. What was it? I don't remember. Probably doesn't matter. Oh yeah. Why? So Seraphel is. The one thing that doesn't really like line up is that Seraphel is a sentinel and was tasked with guarding this world tree, but has no idea where it is. I guess.
Can
Even
it move?
I don't know. It doesn't. I don't know if it's even like like a physical thing or like has a location. That's just me postulating. I don't know shit, but like
Because
I don't
Draken
know.
seemed to suggest it wasn't even a tree.
Draken suggested it wasn't even real.
Oh, that's true.
But
I
I
think
think
Draken's wrong about that shit.
Draken's ignorant.
He's ignorant.
I would agree with that. I don't know. It's
Hey-
fine, whatever. And I close the book and I
Hey,
just feel
Randy,
frustrated.
are you like okay?
Yeah,
You-
I'm great.
Okay, you seem tense there.
I just need to. We'll find Thalariel soon. It'll be fine. We'll get to Oldhallow, and then things will be answered. It'll be great. I love having questions.
So is the plan go to Oldhallow, do the stealing mission, do Branwen's wild hunt stuff, fix Ted, find Thalariel?
Stealing
I don't
mission.
think stealing mission's gonna be here.
The stealing mission was
thought
in
it was in
Oldhallow.
Hello, right?
Oh yeah. Wait, was
It's
it?
Winter Court family.
Strongly remember hearing Oldhallow, but maybe I'm
Or
So-
was there like a intermediate step in Oldhallow?
The stealing mission that was assigned to you by Draken Voss was of a family in the Winter Court. However, once he discovered Ted, he
Oh yeah.
urged you all to find his memory core, which Randy scried Thariel to find him in Oldhallow. And do you
Chris,
know
you're
that?
cutting out a lot.
What did you hear?
I think I
Bits.
mostly got it, but you were cutting
Okay.
out a lot.
So
So the stealing mission, Winter Court family, but once Draken heard about Ted, he was like, go find Thariel. He's in Oldhallow memory core.
get the memory core, yes.
And then he would give us something that would help us do the stealing mission.
Correct.
God, we gotta let that lady out of the orb.
What is her deal?
I feel like she's the key to everything, man.
Like I was
Yeah.
not gonna lie, I was really close to sending her a message, but then I felt like somehow Draken Voss would know when he turned me into like a salamander.
Not to be that guy, especially with sending and orbs, because I feel like I'm one of the guys who often does things without really thinking about it. But what if she's in the orb for a reason?
I mean, that's also very possible, but I want to know why.
Yeah, but Draken Voss has her in the orb, so it's probably a bad reason. That guy just seems like he likes putting people in orbs or like pillars and
Yeah, but you can't free someone from an orb based on vibes alone, you know?
agree to
Which is the
disagree.
least Randy thing I've ever said.
We've done a lot of stuff based on just vibes alone.
Is it vibes if I have a moral opposition to indefinite confinement in
It's actually
I'm just
exactly what
saying,
it is.
what if this woman is a more powerful and evil wizard than Draken
What if
Voss
she's a
is?
witch that ate 3,000 babies?
It's a lot of babies.
That is a non-zero amount of babies. I should also know better than to trust random women who may or may not be powerful by now.
That's a joke from
Yeah.
campaign.
Look, I'm all in for learning more about the orb. I think more orb knowledge is a benefit for all of us, but we gotta know more about the orb before we do things about the orb, you know.
now is not the time to ponder the orb.
And now is not the time to ponder the orb.
I'll ponder the orb when I'm going to sleep.
I'm pondering. You can't stop me.
Hell yeah.
Thou shalt not ponder.
As you all are standing there,
Oh, we're
inevitably
sitting. We got a campfire.
a shroud of mist, warm yet somber, begins to envelop you. It seems to sprout up from the ground itself, parting slowly, inevitably, to where the forest seemed to loom all around you just moments before, now dares to not even encroach. And these ruins begin to rise up from the earth around you, just ahead of you off the main road. The city, now more ruins than metropolis, begins to stretch before you, silently reminiscent of some lost civilization. You can even see people walking about, their visages like almost opaque in nature and becoming more solid before your very eyes, and the weight of history gripping this place tightly. The structures before you are marvels carved into stone and marble, both beautiful yet melancholic, just emerging all around in front of you. Their surfaces etched with the passage of time, overgrowth claiming portions of them, trees growing within them, trees growing out and around them. The whole city seems to splot up all around you. And finally, deeper down the way, just off the main road, this large palace built atop a crumbling facade of a ruin just owns most of the landscape before you, visible through this kind of lattice of stark and once elegant arches draped with foliage and overgrowth. Cena's kind of on edge, her hand kind of like darts towards her. What is happening? What's going on? Where is this? Where did everything where we just were go?
We were waiting.
This
That
is, I don't know, this seems like typical Fane nonsense.
that's it. This is Oldhallow.
Guess so.
Well,
Certainly
it ain't
doesn't
New
look like-
Hallow.
I was gonna make that same joke.
Oh shit.
Seems a lot shittier than I heard about
I
it.
was gonna say,
Yeah.
doesn't look like New Hallow.
We're so funny.
Hilarious, aren't we?
Well, should we go in?
Yeah.
We're already-
Oh, what are we doing first? Are we checking in with your people, or are we looking for Thariel?
Let's just.
I think we should all
How late
split
is it?
up and do our own thing.
Also, we should probably maybe think about killing Talia while we're here.
Okay. How late is it?
Late afternoon.
How about we just go, let's just go in. Let's just go in.
Let's just go in.
Just-
Oh, by the way, that guy, Not said to hit him up once we got to Oldhallow. We're his.
Okay.
I am his not adversary.
Okay. Ominous. All right.
Also, he thinks I'm
Does,
in love with Randy.
does he want to fuck you?
I do not believe he wants to fuck me.
That's a shame.
Vibes unclear. Got it.
All right, well. Oh, also, wasn't Oldhallow? Is this where the Earl King is, right?
Oh yeah.
Didn't we want to like let him know that we killed the hag, or did we?
Did you take
wanna
her
hold
head?
that?
We've got our head somewhere.
Someone's got her head.
Or did you
Hopefully
lose
it
it
wasn't in the bag
when
of
the bag of
holding.
holding happened?
Fuck.
It super was.
It definitely was.
Oh,
Forgot that happens after we got the head.
I mean, worst case scenario, we could just zone of truth ourselves and be like, yes, we killed Ophelia.
True.
Ugh,
And then he'd be
yeah.
like, oh, word. Sounds good.
Yeah, that's worked. For us in the
Also, I don't know if I said this the other day, meaning yesterday, but when I talked to Gwen, she was like, oh, the Earl King claims to hate immortals, but one of his servants is cheating death.
mm-mm.
Okay.
past. Was she
didn't
an
do it.
old
She
lady
did.
form or hot
No,
girl form?
she was hot. I just did the old lady voice for effect.
Oh,
It's good to separate yourself from the hot.
Yeah.
So he doesn't fuck her again.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say something, but I chose not to because yeah.
Willem will sort of dip his head at you in appreciation.
Um,
Let's just go in.
Oh, also, while we're here, do we maybe want to look up, like, I don't know, remember when we found that cool vessel? The thing that wasn't a boat, and they were like, oh, the pilot's train.
oh, that was an Oldhallow,
oh,
wasn't
Yes,
it?
it was.
oh,
Yeah. Or the ruins of the academy where they train the pilots. That's here. So maybe we should find out something about that, too. It's almost like
The boys
many...
just really want their boat, their boat plane.
All
God,
roads
many-
lead to Oldhallow.
many it's a confluence of things. I'm probably forgetting things too.
Well, that was a pretty good recap. I'll say that you were circling that time, and you like walk into the city, kind of underneath a dilapidated, crumbling archway. And there are many ways into the city. The archway is connected to a stone facade wall that
Oh,
is.
you
Cutting
cut out.
out-
You cut out.
Everybody, relax.
You cut out, Chris.
Yeah, you're screaming. You you walk into the city underneath a crumbling archway, and you find that there are many ways into the city itself, um, because the stone facade wall is largely crumbled and lost to time, overgrown with trees and branches. Though many of the trees in the city are dead, either having lost all of their leaves or just clinging to crusted brown burnt leaves that seem to hang on by the very edge of their stems. You pass very few people, but at one point you do walk past a procession of cloaked figures that move solemnly toward a really what appears to be a mausoleum. They all stand tall, taller than most people that you've seen, at least 8 feet tall, and they are completely shrouded in black cloaks, faces included.
I know somebody else who's 8 feet tall. It's Randy.
It is.
Randy's 9 feet tall, right?
I think I'm 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm gonna sort of go up to Brandon and be like, so like Autumn Court, is there like apple cider and bonfires or
Pumpkin spice.
oh cool. I love both of those things. Fall's my favorite season.
Yeah, they're really big on spooky, but in like not as much in jolly way. They're more super goth.
I don't
To
see
be-
a lot of pumpkins. Do you not do that here?
Oh, there's pumpkins.
To be clear,
They're just
Willem,
more goth.
you've only known autumn. You know no other season.
He's a baby.
Oh, is this Game of Thrones worlds where seasons last for a really long time?
Seasons last for
Were
a
you
very
not paying
particular.
attention to the entire
God.
campaign?
Well,
Chris is pissed.
the material plane isn't like that, right?
Yes,
No,
it
Thing
is.
it is.
It always has been.
It's always one of you.
Sorry for getting details about the climate and season of the fantasy
It's
D&D
important
campaign.
details. It's always
Because it's
been
all-
fall as long as you've been alive.
Is now a
Because
good
it's
time to
been
tell
the
you?
Autumn King in power.
Is now a
And-
good time to tell you that you're a really good DM and we all love you and appreciate all the hard work you do?
Yes, it is.
To
Thank
be
you.
fair to Nolan, I think that that was one of the how you set the campaign,
Yes.
and it wasn't the first session, and then I think it's been mentioned a few times.
It's been
since then, but-
mentioned.
It's been mentioned a lot.
Much-
And there was a very specific mention in the one shot that we just did where it was summertime.
That seemed like a detail that
Because
I
the
overlooked.
Summer King was in power.
Well, much like a satisfied director, I've got no notes. So
That was funny. Yeah,
Are there
so
a
you're
bunch
just,
of spooky crows around too?
there are a lot of.
Vultures.
We'll actually make a perception check.
Oh, that's not good. That's a 9.
Anyone else?
Oh,
I'll perceive. Natty 20!
Ah.
You.
Willem, as you look up to the heavens, you do spot a number of, or at least you can't, an indiscernible number of large black vultures that seem to blink in and out of existence at different points in the sky, keeping a very watchful eye over the city. Given your natural 20, though, what you do see are a expansive network of stone aqueducts, now overrun with moss and vines, kind of weaving through the city. They're interesting and complex in nature. And actually, as you pass one, it's like you go over a bridge and one passes below you. You can see that they still ferry water, almost crystal clear, as though untouched by all the detritus within them, as though still holding a bit of magic within them.
I will push some phantom glasses up on my nose and say, these aqueducts are so intricate.
um,
Oh,
You've been too much violence toward Chris from you. You gotta cool it, man. You
Yeah,
gotta cool it.
Chris was writing in his notes, fucking kill Willem.
No.
I was looking at my notes when you described these hooded figures, a bunch of guys, big tall guys. What are they doing?
indiscernible gender, tall individuals wearing black
Okay.
cloaks, yes.
This
I'd
is-
like to approach one of them.
Okay. You approach one of them, and as you approach, you know that they are indeed going into a mausoleum. Specifically
What?
in.
You cut out.
What, Chris?
Okay.
Chris.
Um,
Look at that dog, though. Look at that dog.
it's
I
a
don't know
good
why
dog.
that keeps happening. You do, as you approach, you know that they are going into a mausoleum, and you are able to kind of stop them before they enter. And one will kind of hesitate, and you assume look at you, but you don't. You can't see their face through the cloak or hear any words being said.
I'm sorry, where are
Like-
they going?
Yeah, where are they going?
They're walking into a mausoleum.
Okay.
Gotcha. So I'm their height, like looking right in their hood. It's just like a black void.
Yes.
Okay. I will say, hey, have you seen a small blue man, perhaps panicked, like running through a town?
You receive no response.
Yeah,
Can
kinda.
I message him? The same question.
You can attempt to.
I do that. Say the exact same thing.
Okay. You receive no response.
Okay.
Randy, you know who we might be able to ask about Thariel is Knob Not.
I could also just message Aravan. mean-
Randy, as you are standing there and kind of hearing from your friend speak, the cloaked figure will raise their hand and place a thumb upon your forehead. And I will have you make a wisdom saving throw.
Add, don't forget to add 2.
Good thing I
Spooky.
fucking rock at wisdom saving
And
throws.
a D4. And a D4.
No,
I can't. All right, I rolled an at 1.
Okay. You feel a rush of energy pass over you, and you honestly feel as though your legs give out beneath you, and you kneel to the ground.
Chris, you're cutting out so
Chris,
much.
Chris, we don't know what they told him. Chris.
That's what I get from my hubris, my wisdom saving throw hubris. I get a plus
I'm
8
I'm
and a
good.
plus 2.
Can you hear me now?
Baby.
Yeah.
Okay. So their thumb is atop your forehead, and you're brought to your knees. Again, as soon as I start talking.
Just
You
a
said-
little bit.
I
Keep
can
going, keep
tell
going,
that
keep
you
going.
said forehead, but it cut out.
Yeah.
And you drop to your knees, and you see visions in your head of the processional walking into the mausoleum, and then your voice rings in your ear from moments before. And then you see through their eyes as they greet you, and you see your face looking back at you.
Cryptic.
Hate that.
Wait. Can you say that again?
So
Not because you cut out a lot, but because my brain. Hold on. Say that again.
So the overwhelming pain that you felt brought you to your knees, and then in your mind's eye, you see through the eyes of the cloaked figure. You see as they walk into the mausoleum, hear your voice calling out to them, and you feel the individual turn and see you through their eyes.
Is this like
They are essentially replaying a memory of
Yeah.
themselves into your mind.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I'm just gonna go run up and yank Randy to his little feet.
No, wait. Can you I push Branwyn away.
Well, actually, I'll say as you
Um,
run up, Branwyn, make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, fuck. Oh, I did good. Oh my gosh. Aw. A 19.
You hear in your voice, though it is Randy's voice, shout, "Stop."
I stop. And I'm just glaring at this thing.
I say, can you show me if you've seen a little blue man running around here?
As you think of Thariel and play, like as you're just essentially like speaking his existence, you will see visions flash before your eyes, and inevitably, you do see this processional earlier. You're not sure exactly when, but you get the sense it is earlier this day, walking through the city, and in the periphery of this individual's mind or eye, you can see a tiny blue man walking into a building.
Um, what does the building look like?
The building looks like a it's a stone building that is more put together than most of the buildings that you've seen up until this point. And it has a metal sign of a witch laughing.
Like a cartoonish witch with a long bumpy nose.
No, more
And she's
like
got a big.
a spooky witch that kind
Oh.
of tails off in like a ghost-like tail.
I look at this being, and I think thoughts of gratitude, and I leave.
You actually feel compelled to not leave.
Oh,
And so your attempt to leave is prevented.
Hey, Chris. Oh wait. Nope, never mind. I was gonna say earlier in the day I protected Randy from good and evil, but that lasts for 10 minutes.
Yeah. Um,
It's only been 10 minutes, right?
and you feel compelled to not leave. And you hear a voice in your mind, again your own. And it speaks to you and says, "You would be wise to not be brazen." They will pull their hand off of your forehead and turn back towards the mausoleum and begin walking toward it.
those guys are very serious.
That was fucking creepy.
Jesus Christ, Randy.
Bramwell, make an insight check.
That is a 14.
Cena's hand is on her blade that is like kind of sheathed to her back, like her spare blade, and she's looking at you like looking for permission.
You can't just run up to people. This place is spooky.
To be fair, we've been to a lot of spooky places, and I've run up to a lot of different things, and I'm alive, baby.
Yeah, but
He-
we're like. So the Feywild's full of a bunch of crazy stuff. When everybody considers this place spooky,
That's true.
that means something.
I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I feel like we should generally be respectful here.
I thought you were going
did-
to say, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I agree with Brandon.
I thought
I
so
mean, I
too.
do
I thought
agree
that's
with
where that was
Brandon,
going.
which is that's not such a rarity.
I'm glad you guys are getting along. I know where Thalariel is. We don't have to do that at first, but like I know where he is.
Well, where?
He's in a building with a witch sign.
He's a pretty
Is it
flighty
nearby?
guy. We should do that.
Is he just gonna like run away again if he sees you?
Probably.
That's
Is it
like
nearby?
Well, we got hold person, don't we?
that doesn't feel like a great way to start a conversation.
That feels
Amina's
bad.
just
That
running
feels really
away.
bad.
do
Okay,
you
is the place nearby?
I don't know.
Great.
Well, you kind of do. You know that it's
Oh.
like within the range of this processional.
we could probably just ask somebody who is not no offense, Randy, 8 feet tall and wearing a spooky hooded cloak.
Like the
Yeah.
scariest person that you could imagine. Like you just walked up to like the most ominous looking figure that
We were the same height. I felt a kinship.
And to be fair, it gave you information.
This
did.
went extremely well for me. I don't know what you guys are on about.
Is there anybody else like walking around near here?
Yes, there are. There is a small, like, kind of gathering of individuals kind of on the opposite side of the street where you find yourselves that are not 8 feet tall and cloaked. Specifically, you find a pair of what are clearly Eladrin from your distance talking to a forest gnome.
I will approach and go, Pardon my interruption. Could I ask you fine folks a question?
The taller of the group will kind of turn to you and look you up and down. Not used to outsiders. Pray tell your name.
I am called Willem.
I see. Dorian,
A pleasure.
what brings you to
um,
Oldhallow?
Many things, but at the moment, I am looking for a stone building that's relatively new looking, that has a sign of a hanging sign of a witch out front of it. And I was wondering if you might be able to tell us where to find that.
No insight check is required to see that his face grows a little bit frustrated by your question. And he's, laughing witch sign. A typical outsider come to check out the new digs. That'd be the laughing banshee.
Sorry, what do you mean by new digs? I was just there's somebody I'm supposed to meet there, or one of my friends is supposed to meet there, rather.
It's a relatively new tavern. I defiled one of the most sacred ruins in the city to build it. Not everyone here is as obsessed with our history as they should be.
I'm a little surprised you got a new tavern. Do you get many visitors here in Oldhallow?
We do not, and they are typically not welcome.
Can I hear this conversation?
I'll say yeah. You likely followed Willem over to this general direction.
I'm just gonna ask him. I'm new to this whole like learning thing. What are these ruins?
Nobody knows. Yet we live among them, and we yearn to learn more about them. It is an ancient, fallen race, an ancient, fallen civilization, and you would do well to respect it while you are here.
I will be very careful. I appreciate you.
Based on your friend's interaction, I doubt that very much.
I can also hear this?
Yes.
I go, ancients, are you guys talking about the lobes?
He gives you a kind of stern look. He's, what brings you here? Another adventurer
boat?
seeking glory from the ruins. Mind you, they are strictly off limits to outsiders.
Yeah, we weren't planning on going there anyway.
Good.
I'll sort of do a head nod. So, thank you very much. We'll be on our way now. And I turn to Randy and go, the laughing banshee.
As you turn around, they will kind of quip back to you. Says, "Best mind yourselves around the morning veil. They're not to be messed with."
Around the what?
The morning veil.
Are those the and I gesture back towards the mausoleum.
Yes.
What's their deal, if you don't mind me asking? I know, typical outsider.
They hold a solemn duty to shepherd those to the great beyond. And they hold it well. You laugh?
Thanks.
No, that was me, Brett, laughing at what Randy just did.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
To the tavern?
Yes.
Do we want to like sork in a plan as we're walking over there? Is the plan to hold person on Thalariel?
I think the plan is to talk to Thalariel, and if he tries to run away, don't let him, because I assume once he sees Ted over here, and I give him a slap on the back, they're going to be best friends. He's going to want to see Ted again, for sure.
I'm like
this.
Ted. Do you know how we might? Do you think Thariel's going to run away? And if he is there anything we could do to make him not want to do that? We really need to talk to him.
Thariel. That's all you guys want to talk about. He's a buddy of mine, but I have to say the last time I saw the guy, he was abandoning me in the woods, so I can't really speak too much to his credit. However, he's one of my closest friends.
We think he has your memory module, and I don't know if he would want to give it back, but I'd love to get that brain of yours back where it's supposed to be.
Oh, that would be amazing. So, are we going to see him right now? He's
We
not
are.
he's not the biggest fan of me, unfortunately.
No, he doesn't like me very much either.
Is there anybody Thariel is a fan of?
Well, I'm one of his closest friends.
Just said he wasn't really a fan of you.
Lately, he did the whole abandon me in the woods things, but we go way back.
Oh, well, I'm sure he had good reasons. Do you know why he might have abandoned you?
Said it was for my own safety. Said that people were getting too close.
Oh, I think we might be the people.
Yeah.
You don't say. Well, he's definitely not
Well-
going to want to talk to you guys.
Funny thing about that is now, he said he was worried about people getting too close, and now we're like this.
Willie, you are one of my favorites, I tell you.
You're growing on me, Ted. Like a fungus.
Well, you know what they say, I'm a pretty fun guy.
Let's go to the tavern.
Before we entered the tavern, how long does a potion of mind reading last?
I don't know. You can look it up then.
I know detect thoughts is a minute. Is that the same with the potion?
I forgot you have one of those.
When you drink this potion, you gain the effect of the detect thought spell. So,
I can't
Yeah, so I
wait
guess
for
it-
Randy to read all of our thoughts. Just
Yeah, so
real
it
quick.
is a
Oh
1
my
minute
God.
situation.
1 minute.
And
I
then we
won't-
all just DM
Also-
him our thoughts. That'd be so fun.
the
would
DC
be
for
fun.
that is 13.
Yeah.
The potion comes with its own DC.
Okay. Well, I won't waste it now then. I'll wait until we're in conversation with Thariel before I drink it, I guess.
You're gonna like spike your own drink
Yeah.
bar? Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
All right. Are any of you inevitably, as you walk deeper into the city, the buildings do become a bit more like kind of put together. You get the sense that this is more the central part of the city. You pass a number of shops along the way, as well as a completely empty market square where the stalls are filled with goods, but no one manning them.
Pumpkins?
No pumpkins, but all manner of like kind of shops, bread, cheeses, wood carvings, but nobody is manning the stalls until inevitably you kind of come down one of the main roads and you see up ahead of you a metal sign kind of twisting in the wind of a witch laughing, and underneath it says the Laughing Banshee. Unlike most of the dilapidated buildings around it, it has clearly been shored up with fresh rock and stone. Where most of the other buildings that you've passed, you could theoretically step over a crumbling wall to get into it. Whereas this one is clearly enclosed and has new construction added to it. You can hear some faint chatter from inside, but nothing crazy.
All right, remember. Please be polite to people.
Is it generally frowned upon to cast magic in other people's property?
Okay, imagine that you had a house. Would you like it if someone cast magic in your property?
Depends on the magic.
Exactly. Okay, let's go in.
Cool.
You
All
know,
right, we're gonna be a little nonchalant. We're gonna scope out the place first. We're gonna make sure that he's even here. I'm sure he won't recognize me because he's never seen me or knows what I look like. He just knows my voice, right?
Correct.
do you
Should
want me
one
to
of us
maybe
hang out
stay
with
out
Ted?
here with Ted? Yeah.
He will recognize Ted. That's true.
Give
Yeah.
him-
I can send one of y'all a message if it seems like the coast is clear, and then y'all can come in.
Or I could just rip
God,
out my
no,
tooth
no,
and I
don't-
could
oh,
see through one of
God.
your heads.
Put that back in your head. It's so creepy.
It doesn't
I'll-
really
I'll
work
take-
that way.
I'll take your tooth.
Thanks, Dunk. And I give him a nice molar.
Ugh.
No.
No!
No, I'm gonna put it in a fold.
It's an Willem does an endoscopic exam.
That's how they did colonoscopies
Oh
back
God,
in
he's
the
got
day.
an ulcer.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, to be fair, it says as long as he's holding or carrying the token, and if you eat it, I think you're carrying it.
So everyone except for Willem and Ted, you step through the doorway and under the archway of the Laughing Banshee, and you kind of hit this immediate contrast of like what has previously been ancient and dilapidated ruins, and attempted a kind of a modern refuge inside. There are light that trickles in from the setting sun, kind of piercing through the few remaining cracks and the what windows look out onto the street, casting these very long shadows that merge with a fireplace that roars on the left-hand side. And there are a few people inside. It's a very like kind of subdued conversation as patrons chatter at the bar or at their tables. There is a dark-skinned Dwagar behind the bar, tending to the bar itself and pays you no mind as you enter. Around the scattered tables, make a perception check.
17.
Ooh, I did so good. Okay. 24.
Okay. All of you hear a lone bard kind of plucking away a very like hauntingly beautiful tune. She's kind of leaned against the corner wall, kind of kitty corner, and her feet are up on the table, and she just plucks away on her lyre. It's very almost melancholic and sad. Um, but you do see a number of tables occupied. Specifically, you see a group of people playing liar's dice, a handful of people chattering over cards in the corner, and then on the far right hand side, sitting right next to the fire, is a petite blue little man with long hair.
How far away is he?
He's about a stone's throw away. Like the tavern is not that large. So you could jump there.
Just
Triangulation.
I
Dunk, I take right, you take left.
what?
We're gonna cover the exits.
Oh,
There is only one exit, and it is the door you just walked in.
very smart.
Randy, how do you want to approach?
I'm gonna grab a beer, and then I'll sit with him.
Can you grab me one?
Yeah, for sure.
There are no
watch
beers,
the
but there
door.
are spiced ales specifically.
Oh hell yeah, let's go.
Okay. Yeah, if you guys want to just make sure that this motherfucker can't leave.
I'll walk in. I guess I'll sit like next to you at the bar.
Sounds good.
I'll play bouncer.
Right, so
But I get a
Bren,
drink first though.
okay, so you all grab a drink from the bar, and Bren, when you are standing by the door, and then Randy and Dunk, you're going to flank him.
Or if there's like a seat by the door.
I'm gonna like talk to him. I'm gonna sit down wherever he's sitting and just flank sounds aggressive. I just want to talk to the guy.
Okay, so you're going to sit down next to him at the fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna plant the tooth on Randy, and I'm gonna hang out by the bar.
Okay. So Brenwan stays by the door. Dunk heads over to the bar. Randy, you sit down next to the creature.
Hold on. I'm gonna get the spiced ale, and then I'm gonna take out the potion of mind reading. I'm gonna drink like a swig of it, take the potion of mind reading, pour it in the spiced ale, and then I'm going to sit down.
Okay, and they have to make a wisdom saving throw, correct?
DC 13.
Okay.
Pretty easy.
You sit down next to the individual and immediately hear thoughts in your mind.
I haven't drank it yet.
Oh, sorry.
I'm waiting to drink it because it only
Okay.
lasts a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you sit down and the creature kind of like looks up at you nervously. Hmm. Like kind of shimmies his chair a little bit to the right.
You don't look like you're from around here.
No, not as such. Just passing through.
Yeah, me neither. We're like travel buddies, kinda. Where are you from?
Nowhere. I'd really like to enjoy my drink in peace. And he gestures a small, like, petite glass that's filled just, like, to the brim with a blue liquid.
Do I recognize this blue liquid? Like, are they serving it?
You didn't see the bartender serve you anything besides the drink, but if you scan around the room, you see a couple other people with it.
Oh.
What is that? That drink. It looks interesting, like a water of life or something.
No water of life. No, it's just something that Jorah puts together.
Ah,
If you don't mind, I'd really like my privacy.
no, yeah, for sure.
Good.
And then I will take a sip of the ale.
Okay.
And I will read thoughts.
As soon as you take a drink, you're immediately inundated. Well, actually, let me roll for. Okay. There's one other person in the periphery or whose thoughts you also hear in your mind, but they're just kind of like thinking about how they want to hit on the bard in the corner. So you're getting a little bit of that, but you do immediately hear the voice of Thariel in your mind. What's this big oaf doing here? Sounds familiar, but whatever. It's no big deal.
You don't recognize me, do you?
Why is he asking me that? What a peculiar thing to ask. Should I recognize him? No, don't recognize you at all. Maybe you just have one of those faces.
I'm,
If I leave
um,
now, I'll be able to get out of the city before dark. Probably for the best. He's going to take a big swig of the drink and down it in one gulp because, well, have a good night. And he's
I
gonna-
say, I've been doing some reading lately, and I take out the Etheric Compendium.
all you hear in your mind is just a scream, like a yelp of sheer horror. And it is you! I thought it was you. You should not have followed me here. What are you gonna do? You gonna whack me?
I wasn't planning on it. I kind of just wanted to have a conversation.
Nothing good will come from that book. You should burn that book.
I've been reading it a lot.
Then you're doomed. And you're better off not knowing. Please, let me go. I'm nothing to you
Thalariel,
now.
you are precisely who I've been trying to find for a really long time.
And I've
I think
told
can
you
help me
that
out.
I can't help you, and I don't know anything, and that I'm no service to you. You should just. This is ludicrous. You followed me all the way here. I knew you'd come for me eventually, and that's why I hid it. It's gone. You can't find it, and you'll never know the truth. The things that you think you know, you'll never find out the rest.
Thariel, I'm afraid I didn't really want to do this, but you can't really leave, and I think it's important for you to not make too big of a scene right now. But I've got companions.
You're an outsider here. They've seen me before. They know me. If I make a stink, you don't want to know what they do to people here. It is a fate worse than death. The Morning Veil will take you.
Yeah, I talked to one of those guys. They're pretty nice. They showed me where you were.
What do you want with me?
Like I said, I just want to have a conversation. I want to learn some things.
He sits back down aggressively.
The goddess Adara sent me to find you.
Is that supposed to impress me?
A little bit.
It doesn't. I've met people like your kind before. Or at least
Like
I
who?
know about them.
You've never met them, though.
He doesn't respond.
Okay. Is can I detect any thoughts from
You can
that?
make yes. You get a sense of like frustration, and you can tell that he is not telling you the whole truth.
Okay.
If you want this to be a real conversation, drop the
I
act.
would.
Bring your friends over here. I'm not having some prison. If you claim you have no intent of hurting me, then prove it.
I'd love to do that, but I'm gonna need your word that you're not gonna book it the moment that we do that, because that's kind of been a problem with you.
You have it.
Can I insight check that?
Sure. At this point, the potion is starting to wear off. So you can do so with
Yeah.
advantage.
I got a 23.
He's telling the truth.
Okay. I nod and I say, oh, and we have an old friend of yours as well. And I guess I look over at Dunk and at Branwen, and then I say out loud so Willem can hear, like, he's not gonna run. Come on over here.
I message Dunk. Does he want me to bring Ted?
Yeah, that's the yeah, that's what we're doing. I think we're just gonna have a little sit down, a little chat.
Okay. Ted and I walk into the bar.
As soon like his head like darts to the bar, like to the doorway, and as soon as he sees Ted, he just goes, "Oh my gosh! You brought him here? Listen to me very carefully. Destroy him."
Troy, Ted?
As you say that, Ted will go, "Hey, Thariel!" And like sit down right next to you and like frantically grab his hand and shake it up and down. He goes, "Yes, Ted, it's very good to see you. But you know that I left you in the forest there for a reason. I thought you would end up back with Draken and you would stay there forever and ever and ever and nobody would ever find you again. Why didn't you go towards the tower?" "I couldn't find the tower. I ran into these fine folks here, and it was such a pleasure that we did, and now we're here seeing you. And I gotta say, Thariel, I was a little annoyed that you left me in the woods there, and I was a little annoyed that you stole my mind. So if you could promptly return that to me so that I can tell these nice fellows all the answers to their questions, because I will not do that, Ted, because they don't deserve the answers. No one can know those things. You know I took that, well, you don't know, but you should know that I took it for a reason."
Mr. Thariel, sir. Sorry to intervene, but
It's
is this a
just
bad
Thariel.
time? Oh, Thariel. Is this a bad time to tell you that we did go to Draken Voss and he told us that you'd be here and that we must get Ted's memory module back and return Ted to him, which, by the way, we had no intention of actually doing.
Well, so it was Randy that found out that Ted or Thariel was here. He scried on him.
Oh, sorry, I thought
Yeah.
Draken told us.
Yeah. Ted was supposed to stay there. None of you were supposed to find this. It's too late. It's gone. It's over. You'll never find it.
Insight check. 23.
He firmly believes you won't find it.
What did you like? Put it in a bag of holding and drop it off the Shimmer Peak Mountains or something?
I can't imagine anyone daft enough to do that. No.
Things slip.
It's none of your business what's happened to it. All that you need to know is that it's out of your reach. It's a place that none of you can go.
Can I ask why Ted is so important? I mean, obviously, he's a great guy.
He looks at you. Make an insight check.
15.
He is confused at the question. He's just another droid, another automaton.
I don't think you're entirely telling me the truth, because you sought fit to remove his mind and told him it was to keep him safe, and were obviously very intent that nobody find him. So I'd appreciate it if you would be a bit more forthcoming.
And what do I owe you? You've chased me to the ends of the earth. You already have my book, so what do you need me for?
I'm kind of looking for the missing pages of this thing, by the way.
And you'll never find those. I burned them.
You fucking what?
I burned them.
Insight check. 18.
He's telling the truth.
I look visibly upset. What was on those pages?
I don't remember. And now no one
Insight check.
I don't inside check. I know that's BS.
16.
He's not entirely lying. He has a sense. Go ahead, Doug.
I was saying, I got a 19. Does that give any more?
You can tell that he's not lying, but he's also not telling the whole truth.
I'm sort of gonna dart my eyes back and forth between my companions, and I'll be like, so if I'm saying too much, anybody should stop me. But Ariel, I think you should probably know that, like, he's out.
You know.
Seraphel. She's out.
That's precisely why you can never find what you're looking for. It would doom us all.
Why?
You really don't know, do you?
No.
No, our whole thing
We
is
all
sort of
look
like
so frustrated when he said that.
Adara has been telling our buddy Randy here for a really long time that he has to find you, and now
It's kind of been the only thing that she's told me. So you understand my frustration when I'm tasked with saving the entire, all the planes, the world tree's up for destruction, and I get to you and you say, sorry, can't help you.
Because I'm a fraud.
You're, what?
I'm a fraud.
You're not Santa?
you've never given presents to
Put a
different
pin in
groups
that
of boys?
story put a pin in that Santa comment for after the session.
Okay.
It's a great story. Thalariel will kind of like hang his head and goes, I'm not a great author. I didn't write the etheric compendium. He did. And he gestures loosely to Ted.
What was in that memory module?
Everything. You people don't even fathom who you have with you.
Lucy.
This thing, and he gestures to Ted, who just goes, is an original creation of Zephyron himself. The first automaton ever created. You're looking at the only living memory of the convergence. Can't destroy it. It's too powerful, and yet too dangerous to be kept in a... Forgive me, Ted. babbling buffoon. It needed to be removed. I capitalized on it while he had it, wrote my novels, became a best-selling author, until I learned what I had done. And so
So
I wrote more
you were
books, children's books, to make everyone think that they were fairy tales. Then I enchanted the etheric compendium and destroyed the terrible things that I had written. Never expected that someone would find it.
You, you said that Ted was made by Zephyron?
That's right.
Draken Voss said that he made it.
No.
Made Ted.
No.
Wait, really?
Yeah, he said that he made all of his automatons based off of
Ted was his
Ted.
muse.
Oh, okay. I was like, Draken Voss is Zephyron. What the fuck? Okay,
I
got
mean,
it.
he still could be.
Um. Okay. Well, I look at everybody else there. So so we need to know where the memory module is. You don't have to be involved in any of this. We just
Oh, I won't tell
need.
you. As long as it's hidden, she can never find it. And if she finds me or finds Ted, she can kill us. The secrets will die with us.
She's pretty good at finding things. I think we're the best bet if we get to it first.
Does Ted know where the tree is?
Silence yourself.
Insight
This-
is the tree where the thing is
You can roll
based
for
on that
that.
response.
Yeah,
What?
you can roll.
I got a 23.
You really can't discern anything from that, but it stressed him out that you mentioned the tree.
Okay, fair enough.
So if she
It
can't
is for that
find
very
it,
significant blathering that you cannot find it.
so if she can't find it, then she can't do anything.
Precisely.
Thariel, I gotta say, that makes a lot of sense.
I have lived for centuries. You learn a thing or two.
Adara's lived a little bit longer than that, and she seems to think that we need to find it anyway.
Randy, I can't believe I'm saying this, but did you ever think that Adara might want Seraphel to find it?
That doesn't make a lot of sense.
Okay.
Wait. Seraphel's known to impersonate other powerful beings. I'm just saying.
See, I was going along a line of like, I know said in that book there was a lot of gods who destroyed a lot of planes and a lot of people, and I was wondering if Adara might want a little bit of like a clean slate, but
Here's my argument: is that
actually,
against Branwen? I was in the astral plane talking to Adara. At that point, Seraphel was stuck in the Shadowfell, correct? There's no way that she could be on two planes of existence at once, yeah?
I'm just saying I've never
certainly,
seen Seraphel and Adara in the same room at the same time.
She goes to another school.
certainly not like, when we destroyed the Hagstone and that was kind of on two planes of existence at the same time.
It
I'm
seems
just
like you
saying.
all have quite
All
a bit
right.
to talk about. So why don't I go? And he will
No,
start
no,
to
no.
stand up.
You can't leave until you tell us where the memory module is.
Beg your pardon. Like I said, you're outsiders. I've been seen here before. You wish to make this a scene?
I don't wish to. It kind of seems like the ball's in your court.
I've told you what you've asked. I will not share the location of the module. It is quite simply
Then
that simple.
you can't have forgotten everything on the pages you burned.
I have willed them from my mind. You don't understand. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever made a mistake so grave you would do anything to undo it?
I look over at Cena and I say, yeah, one or two of those.
As have I. I did my duty. I brought knowledge into this world that was unbecoming, unfit for mortal minds. You are proof enough of that. And I have done everything in my power to purge it from this world. And I have done what I think is the last thing I can do to prevent it. Now, please, let me go.
I can't not learn anything after meeting you.
You have knowledge that you did not have before. I have given you more information than you deserved. You know now that you walk with an ancient celestial relic. A relic of the Convergence. It would appear as though you bear two of them yourselves. And he looks at you, Dunk, and you, Randy, with the circle at the top of your head. You are no strangers to the Sentinels. You know the power that they will wield. Leave the module where it is, and proceed with a happy existence.
How are you so sure that she won't find what she's looking for?
I'm not. But I have done what I can do.
You said you put the enchantment on the Theory Compendium so that
Yes,
people can't read it.
correct.
Can you remove that?
Theoretically.
He's reading it anyway.
And how's that going for you?
It's going great. I feel great.
Do you? He smirks a little bit. I doubt that very much. If it hasn't affected you yet, it will. Like I said, centuries of existence teach us a thing or two.
Why?
Could you at least take the enchantment off?
What reason would I have to do that? So you continue to fill your mind with things that you don't need to know, that will only drive you to seek more answers that are not
So he
befitting you.
lets you go.
Is that what it'll take?
Maybe.
I unenchant this book. You can fill your head with stories. You'll never know the end. And you will only ever seek it.
Can I ask you a question, Thariel?
It would
Why
appear as though I have no choice.
Why did you want to leave Ted with Draken?
Figured he would be safe there. People wouldn't go looking for him. Draken would keep him there. Draken is an unfathomably powerful being. He would be safe.
Does Draken know what's in Ted's memory module?
Make an insight check.
23.
He looks concerned for a moment. I first met Ted in those woods. He was running. He wouldn't speak of it. We made with all due haste to the spring court, far enough away from Draken. Do you remember this, Ted? I don't remember anything, which is why I'd really love to know if we could get that piece back.
See, Draken was very intent on us returning Ted to him with Ted's memory module, and also when we mentioned the and I make a sort of tree-shaped silhouette with my hands. He said
You
that
what?
was he said that was a lie. So I'm a little bit concerned.
If he thinks it's a lie, then he didn't, and at any point he heard what Ted has to say, then there's nothing to be concerned about. He is a fool. And ideally we do not allow him to receive the memory module, and ergo we will not.
On that much we can agree.
How's Randy looking?
I'll give you anything.
There's nothing you can give me.
I'll do anything that you want. I need to know.
And that, my dear boy, is the problem. You cannot be trusted with this information.
I can't. And
Brandon is keeping an eye on Randy.
I grab his wrist aggressively, and I say,
I got my hand on my sword and I'm ready to draw it.
I say, where's the fucking memory module?
Mind yourself.
Randy,
Hey, remember when he said that whole thing about Seraphel could kill him or Ted and then she still wouldn't know? I think this guy's fine with whatever happens. Like, let's take it easy. I have another random question for you, Thariel, but this doesn't feel like the time.
Oh, it appears that I'm not going anywhere. Ask me.
Oh, do you know a guy named Zoltar?
Good question.
I'm not familiar.
Oh, he really wants that book.
Well,
The complete version of it, though.
The complete version, yeah.
he will never retrieve it. Where is
He
this
said it
man?
was a family heirloom.
That's how it was described, yeah.
Oh yeah, he said the book was a family heirloom. He is in the material plane.
Yes,
Owns a weird shop full of magic items. Weird evil hand in it.
that would make sense. I hid it there years ago. Another one of my attempts to spread the information out.
That's right. I haven't forgotten about the evil hand.
Who did you hide it with?
Zoltar.
Just hid it, no. I hid it in the mountains, hoping that no one would find it. Clearly someone did.
Oh yeah, a guy named Malin. He was he was not okay.
Yes.
I
Do you care to unhand me?
do.
I just look so frustrated.
Thariel's eyes will widen. And all of you can make perception checks.
Dirty 20.
13.
Dirty 7.
Also that.
Dunk, you notice that the tavern has gotten oddly quiet. And that the music has stopped. The people playing dice are no longer there. Even the Dwager
Oh, God.
bartender is missing.
Certified Gontra dim from the Witcher 3 moment.
Additionally,
I don't remember that.
Cena is not with you.
What?
And Thariel will whisper, "You should go." Before you can make any other moves, a voice rings out, "No! You should stay." And all of you turn around to see a tall, thin looking individual with pointed ears and pale blue skin. And he looks at you all. He wears dark leather armor that's encrusted with silver inlay. And he has a few other cloaked figures behind him, though not wearing the same cloaks as earlier. They're different individuals. And he goes, "Your coming was foretold. You are as obvious as you are daft, I'm afraid. It is not every day that we get visitors from the summer court. Humans, hag-touched, coming into our fair city. And nothing happens without the Thorns knowing it. So, why don't you all explain to me what you are doing here? And we can end this in a very peaceful way."
Where the fuck is Cena?
The Thorns will know. You will not, unless you answer our questions. It is really quite simple. But know that if we walk out of here dead, so too is she.
I'm here for
And
the wild hunt.
A bit early.
We're here to tell the Earl King that we killed a hag.
Is that so?
That too.
I must say, Branwen, it is uncommon for a denizen of the Summer Court to walk these hallowed roads and retain their head. Even the wild hunt is not enough to welcome you, given that you are a bit early for that.
What did you say? You cut out.
I have to say, Branwen, it is uncommon for a denizen of your court to walk these hallowed roads and retain their head. Even the wild hunt is not enough to protect you, especially when you arrive 2 weeks early. You can cooperate with us, or face a prison cell until the hunt arrives.
What do you want from me?
Well, we simply wish to know why you are really here. What business do you have with our little friend here? Thariel is most welcome in this city, famous author such as he is. Yes, sir.
This is Brett. While this is happening, I'm going to cast Locate Creature on Cena.
Okay.
As long
What
as they're
is the-
within 1,000 feet of me, I know where they are.
Okay. Like specifically exactly every detail or like general direction?
The direction to that creature's location.
Do you know range?
1,000 feet.
Like no, like how far they are from you within that range?
Oh, I know.
Okay. You know that they are essentially like the north, which is just beyond where the individual who stands before you and a couple of his other guards are.
Beyond
You
what?
cut out after north.
North, just beyond where the people who stand right in front of you are.
What was the last question they asked?
What
Yeah,
are you
sorry.
doing here? And do you have a problem with our friend here? Thariel is a good friend of the Autumn Court. A published author of his renown is always welcome in Oldhallow.
That guy didn't
I have
write
no
the
question.
books.
I message Randy in his head with my telepathy thing. Shut up.
I feel as though we could be of a mutually beneficial arrangement. If you come here saying that you
Mutual
have mutually
I'm pretty sure he
beneficial
said beneficial arrangement.
mutually
Okay.
beneficial arrangement. If you come here saying that you have already slain one hack, an immortal one continues.
Chris,
I
it's
know
so
so
bad, I'm
much and I
sorry.
can't read lips.
Okay, hold on.
You look more handsome than you did before. What'd you do?
Nothing.
You look 20 seconds more handsome.
Like an aged wine.
Thanks. The individual looks at you and says, "An immortal one lives under our very noses, under Lord Callus's nose. An adversary of yours, if I am not mistaken. This can only happen if someone in our very own midst supports him. This is unacceptable in the Thorns. From what I understand, you wish to gain an audience with the Earl King himself. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You may prove your loyalty by rooting out this traitor and returning them to me, and gain the audience with the Earl King you so sorely desire. And it will also ensure that your stay in this city is fruitful and not lethal."
Now,
Wait, so just to clarify for me, are we looking for the immortal person or the person helping the immortal person?
You are looking for the traitor in our midst.
It's Thariel. He's lying to you.
I message again in Randy's head. Shut the fuck up right now.
Thariel will also shoot you an angry glance. Randy, go. Enough.
I look at the lead thorn and I'm like, pardon my friend, please. He's had an emotional day. I happen to have it on good authority that this immortal one is a servant of the Earl King.
Yeah, the traitor.
No, you
Thariel.
misunderstand me. There is a traitor in the Thorns, one of our own, who supports this immortal being.
Your Earl King also is supporting this immortal being.
The individual locks eyes with you, Willem, and stares for a very long time. Yes. You do not know of which you speak.
Enlighten me, please.
We speak of an adversary of yours. The Lady Talia, I believe her name.
That would be an adversary of mine, correct?
She is the immortal one we seek.
Oh, great. Well, I happen to have it on good authority that there is one in the Earl King's employ who also cheats death.
You would mind your attitude and mind your tongue, for you do not understand a lick of the words you speak.
There's one traitor in the thorns sheltering my adversary. I'm simply suggesting there may be more.
I message Wilman's head. Shut up. So do you want us to find the traitor or find the immortal?
I want you to find the traitor.
How do you suggest we do that?
That is for you to figure out. If you wish to demonstrate your loyalty and the ability to deliver to the Earl King, you will do us this favor. And then you will keep your heads, or not at least see the inside of the prison cell for the next 2 weeks.
Where's
We-
Cena?
She is safe. She'll be returned to you as soon as our conversation is done, and I know that you will not all be joining her. We have an understanding of who these people might be. We'll provide you with a list of names. You will root them out and return them to me. You are to do them no harm. They will be brought to me.
Understood.
How do we contact you?
Oh, I have eyes everywhere. I will find you. Beg my pardon. I did not do you the pleasantry of introducing myself. You may call me Lusk.
Further question for you, Lord Losk.
I am no lord. You may simply call me Lusk. I am a humble servant of Lord Callus.
My adversary, if she were to go missing, would that be a problem for anybody?
Of course not. The Earl King would look favorably upon anybody who could slay a hag, which is, the sound of it, you already have.
Indeed, the Lady Ophelia.
Well, it would appear as though we have common enemies, and there is no sense fighting each other in that case.
I couldn't agree more, which is probably why it's a good idea that you return Cena.
In due time. To confirm,
Okay.
we are at an accord. We provide you a list of names. You root out the traitor. Bring them to me. We will reward you with an audience with the Earl King for however short a time. And you may continue with your stay in the city until the time of the wild hunt unmolested.
I would just like you to know that you took from us the best of us at espionage, which is what you are asking us to do.
Oh, she will be returned.
I think we would be far more successful with her with us.
If this is truly something that you cannot overcome, he will snap his fingers and tendrils of shadowy vines will erupt from the floor, Cena amidst them, and then descend.
purplish, shadowy vines?
They are not purple as shadowy vines.
Oh.
And Cena will immediately clasp at her throat and like reach for her blade, but kind of see the number of people and like stay her hand for a moment and like look around frantically.
Chris, how many people are there?
There are 6 in the room.
Please don't. Please don't.
No
That's a
metagaming.
fucked up thing to do.
And Lusk will look at you all and go, we are in
Thank you.
agreement then?
Yes.
Very well.
Yeah.
The individuals you are looking for. Anamnest Nolgadini. A librarian. Am I cutting out again?
No,
No.
can you just send this after
Oh,
you say this? Can you send it to
yes.
us, please?
Yes.
Okay.
Rolf Dugnut. Dustis. And Bug. Learn what you can.
Can I
Inform me
ask
of
a
your findings.
clarifying question? If you are aware of these traitors and powerful as you are, why, or potential traitors, I should say, why not deal with them yourselves?
Oh, we will. But at the moment, they are beneath us. And we wish to understand if you are truly trustworthy of staying in our midst. So we are contracting? He looks around the room at the other agents who go, contracting.
They just like,
That answers my question.
Very well.
understood.
We have an accord. A Honda
Terrific.
Accord.
So you're New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Honda dealers.
Yeah.
Very
Honda,
well.
can we get a sponsorship, please?
This episode is brought to you by the all-new 2024. Okay. Very well. Welcome to Oldhallow. And he will bow deeply.
I return the bow.
As you rise from the bow, you find that he is no longer there, as are none of the other agents. The bar
Scene
remains...
is here, right?
Scene is here. The bar remains empty outside of you all, though.
I
Zena, are
rush
you
to
okay?
Cena and make sure that she's okay.
I'm fine.
Thalariel is still here, right?
Thalariel is here. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm
Did
sorry,
that
they
Insight check. Is this Cena or did they give us a double?
make an insight check.
I'm
It's a
giving
Cena
myself
ganger.
bardic inspiration. I'm giving myself bardic inspiration. Oh, I don't need it. That is a 24.
She looks you dead in the eyebrow and I'm fine.
Okay.
Sorry that happened. They came out of nowhere. We were all sitting here talking. All of a sudden, I just saw shadows. I didn't know where I was. I just heard. She will look at you, Branwyn, and just kiss you, grab you, and just plant one on you. No.
So I guess it's out there, huh?
And then she will pull back and she goes, sorry. I needed that.
Sus behavior.
I'm like
Brandon
right
went from
there on
being-
the floor next to them, like
Brandon went from being really, really mad to okay.
I wasn't sure I would see you again. And we're definitely not
Oh.
letting that happen again.
Yeah, no, for sure not.
Thariel will quip from the back. Well, you've done it. You've brought the thorns upon you. Terrific.
What does that mean? What's their deal?
It's the
Do I
personal...
know who these guys are?
Make a history check without advantage.
That is a 16.
The name rings a bell. You've like heard it loosely in court, mostly with regard to the Autumn Court, and it's just like the common phrase is always "thorns grow everywhere," and it is essentially, as Thariel reveals, the Earl King's personal network of spies. If they know you're here, they will.
I look at. Sorry, go ahead.
No,
Or
go
was
on.
that the end of it? I look at Brandon and I'm like, hey, sorry if this is like insensitive, but isn't that one of those like winter guys?
No, they were you recognize them. They looked more similar to the drow that you met in the swamp that one day.
Oh, okay. I thought you said
Yeah.
icy blue skin and I
Pale
assumed
blue,
winter, like-
pale blue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, hopefully
Then I
we don't
don't
have to
say
see
anything.
those guys for at least another 2 weeks.
So I'm a little confused, and Thariel, I don't know if you have any insight as to this, but Gwen, and I turn to Thariel. Gwen's Baba Yaga, mother of all hags, and also my creator. Let me know that the Earl King has an immortal being in his service, but if his whole thing is I hate immortal beings, and then the Thorns were like, you know not what you speak of, boy.
Yes,
It's
you
like,
would do well not to antagonize the thorns.
but like, isn't the Earl King's whole thing, like he wants to.
The
end
Earl
all
King
the
is going to
immortal
do what
things.
the Earl King is going to do. Do not confront his private army of spies with information that you claim to know. They will find you. If you just revealed something that they were unaware of, they will find you. If you just revealed something that they were aware of and don't expect anyone to know, they will find you
They found us.
and they will finish you.
Please stop pissing these guys off.
Oh. Um, do you know why the Earl King permits an immortal being like Talia to persist here?
I would imagine it is not of his doing, and he would will them to be dead, but he needs to find them. Thariel will look around the bar. From what I understand of Lord Callus, like any archfey, they have their deficiencies. And that is all I will speak of it here. However, don't blab about things that you don't understand.
I don't understand much of anything.
I don't know why that was funny.
It's just me admitted to being a dumbass.
It was just the delivery that I don't know, man. It was funny for some reason. All right,
Tense!
let's find somewhere to stay for the night, I guess.
And
Yeah.
Ariel, looks like
Randy,
you're kind of wrapped up in this now with us too. So
Oh no, I'm leaving. As soon as we leave this bar, I'm leaving.
Where are you going?
None of your business. I'll gladly take
there's,
Ted if you'd like me to.
No,
Oh,
no, no,
please.
no. No, Ted's with us.
I mean, there's a. If you need a place to crash,
I
I know a
don't.
guy.
I do not.
No,
But thank
I
you.
know a really
Okay.
cool farm. Way far
Oh
away
no,
from
I was
here.
gonna say, I know a guy in Silverhaven that has a bachelor pad, and he'll have guaranteed live music.
I really don't.
What is Ariel wearing?
Standard street clothes.
Skin tight cat.
Oh my
suit.
god, he's wearing streetwear.
He's a hype beast.
Is there a place on his person that I could maybe slip a tooth onto? The tooth that I have in my pocket?
You could make a sleight of hand check to attempt this.
I will.
Oh,
Okay.
those go away
but it lasts for a while, right?
until I make another one, which I did to give to you.
Yeah, no, and then Dunk gave it to Randy.
Yeah.
You missed that part. Yeah.
Well,
Sleight of hand, something I am not as
Guys,
bad
look
as
how
I
good of a
thought.
dog
really.
Lucy's being. She's being such a good dog.
Okay, nope. I got a 6.
He immediately notices your hand kind of floating down towards his pocket, and he like with his very tiny, teeny tiny hand, because your hand is so big in comparison, he like smacks at it, and he goes, "I don't know what you're trying, but stop it."
Can't blame a guy for trying to track you.
Actually, I
I will
can.
message Randy into his head. Also, not for nothing. That only works if I'm within 10 miles of him.
It's good
Really,
to know.
this has been terrible, to be perfectly frank. I'm very
You
glad that
can't
we
say
were
it's
able to
been any better for
finally.
me.
I'm glad that we were finally able to meet and put this to bed. You will get no information from me. You get nothing, and you should be satisfied.
You get nothing.
And
You're
you should
still
be
busy lifting drinks.
and you should be satisfied with that. Take solace in it. You will not be cursed with the burden of knowledge that I now bear.
I will find you again if I need to.
Also, do you see this guy? He is already cursed with the burden of knowledge.
I found you once, and I can do it again.
I
It's
have no
not
doubt that you will, but
hard.
it will be no different.
I fucking hate you, Thalariel.
The feeling is mutual. Good night. And he will stand up and look to walk through you.
I'm gonna blow him a kiss.
He'll look up at you, Randy, like, well, because you're kind of blocking his way.
I grab Randy's shoulder and I just yank him.
I allow myself to be yanked.
Okay. Thariel will look at you all and, like, adjust his vest. Much obliged. And depart. And that is where we'll end tonight's session, unless
I
anyone
want
has
to yell at Randy so bad right
unless
now.
anyone has anything else they'd like to do before we break.
I want to yell at Randy. I just push
Yep.
him.
Push.
Do you realize how bad you could have made everything right now?
How bad?
We are lucky that they let us have Cena back. And you did not help anything at all. So I know you want to know things, but know when to fucking talk.
Willem raises a finger and just goes, the thorns have ears and eyes everywhere.
I just told him that Thalariel's fucking lying to him. I believe they'd like to know the truth if they can.
Not about everything, it seems.
I mean, they probably heard that whole conversation, right? If they were
Get
like
it
right
together,
there
dude.
waiting for us.
I really don't think that blaming me for them getting rid of Cena, putting her in a fucking shadow realm, is accurate. I feel like that's
I'm not-
maybe the Thorn's fault for putting her in a shadow realm.
I'm not blaming you for anything. I'm just saying, get it together, dude.
God, remember
I'm,
when we were in the...
sorry. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, remember when we were in like the material realm and the worst thing we had to worry about was the Green Wardens? Good times.
This guy sucks, though.
Yeah.
That's
That's why
you
we
have
should
to.
have. That's why we should have killed him. But nobody listens to Willem.
No, look. If you want to kill a guy, Willem, it's not this dude. This guy's an asshole.
Yeah, but he also said that if anything happened to them, then he was going to kill Cena and presumably the rest of us. So it's like that old song: you got to know when to hold them and when to fold them.
Everyone can make a perception check.
Why are you doing this?
I'd
So-
perceive 8.
Dirty 20.
15.
15.
Dunk, you
If you say Cena's gone, I'm gonna kill you.
Dunk, you are the only person to notice a faint beeping noise coming.
There's a bomb.
That's what I thought too.
found the source of the beeping. It's a pipe bomb.
What is that mysterious beeping noise?
You hear a beeping noise that is
Ariel
emanating.
plant bomb.
Ariel.
He really hated us, guys.
That is emanating from Ted's head.
That's like the Iron Giant.
Ted, what's going on with your? Oh, I didn't hear it. Never mind.
Hey Ted, you you beeping?
What? What? Beeping.
Do you
Beeping.
beep much?
Beeping. Oh, beeping. Yeah. I don't know. Can you? It's coming, and he kind of like puts his head down and points, and there's a faint little blinking blue light inside.
Somebody bugged Ted.
Oh no. That's probably my homing beacon.
What's the homing beacon?
Well, it's like I tend to lose my arms a lot. They fall off.
It
They're
is
quite
like the
old.
Iron Giant.
And so when I'm missing a piece, it blinks and beeps when something's close.
So it's close.
You what now?
Why?
Can you make Ted say "I am not a gun" at some point?
Does that mean guns
Super-
exist in this fantasy universe and therefore Branwyn can have one?
They do not.
I think that Cena should be allowed to have a sniper rifle, though.
You said it beeps when we're close. Does it beep faster when we get closer?
I don't remember.
I'm just gonna pick Ted up and I'm gonna start walking around the bar.
It
Just
it just
holding him out.
it continues to beep with no change in its intonation.
Ted, can you describe to me what your module looks like?
Well, sure, it looks like this, and he kind of puts his head down, and just like this big, open, gaping piece. And to be clear, you've seen it, Randy, in Thalariel's
Oh.
hand.
That's right. I cast locate object. If it's within 1,000 feet, I know where it is.
You feel a tugging sensation in your mind beneath you.
We gotta fucking dig.
Is the floor like wooden?
Yes.
Is there a basement?
I'm just gonna pick up my axe and I'm gonna start.
You shatter the wooden floor and find nothing but stone beneath it. Someone covered up a beautiful stone floor with fake wood.
It's stone.
Yeah.
Fake wood? It's not even
That's
real
there's a
wood.
basement, you absolute maniac.
I cast meld into stone.
Fucking Christ.
You do so, and you are in stone.
Can I try to slurp down? Does it work?
You find a lot of stone.
All right, no, I go back up.
Okay.
Yeah, is there a basement in this location?
If your immediate perception says no, there is no stairwell.
I mean, there is one more thing we could try, maybe. And I hold up the phase necklace. Lets you walk.
So I'll say that since you know that Randy couldn't make it, you would also know the phase necklace would not help you. Like you are
I didn't
smart
know if
enough
there
to
was
know
a
that.
limit to the depth of melting
Yeah.
into stone.
Instead,
But they're
however, I
like-
will say that we will end the session here to give you something to think about.
All right.
And the reason is actually, so we are going to be playing this session on Wednesday, April 10th. We'll be taking April 17th off and be back on Saturday, April 20th. As always, you can find us at nat20hot.com, www.nat20hot, on TikTok at nat20hot, or on Instagram at nat20hot. And I don't think we have any other announcements, right? All good? Because
Boo Canada.
I really have to be somewhere. So I'm gonna go.
Oh,
I'm gonna go.
Oh,
Yeah, split.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
should we also go? What
Okay.
shit? What? No, no, no! Don't leave me.
I
Fuck
think
it.
this is a ruse. I'm still here. Don't tell anybody.